The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
He himself actually has admitted that he bribed members of parliament, so...
he admitted that he bribed members of parliament?
Well, when he said...
The government.
Yeah, when he said that he gave the 10 million was for what?
We're always quick to point faults in somebody else before you look at your own faults as a person.
If it was Kanu's day, hii amuka naye leo, ungekuwa umeenda bali sana hii. So and we must celebrate you.
There are 600 million people now globally estimated to be living with diabetes in the world. So it is a major health problem. It's the largest single disease rising pandemic that we're dealing with right now.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
You have land, Dennis.
Yeah.
Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around.
Yeah,
Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation. The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on SpiceFM.
We look at the utterances of leaders,
But we have been robbed senseless.
Look at the wasteful expenditure. Look at how large government lives. And we've said this is something that can be controlled. It happens in many other countries.
Internally, we used to stand and tell him, boss, hii kitu ni mbaya. And you'd say, now he doesn't, let me tell you, you saw the other parliamentary group meeting. People went there, sat, listened, looked at him. There was no plenary, left.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day.
Good morning, and I love your show.
Thank you.
Having come from a Kikuyu radio background, I migrated to Spice because of the content.
I was born in a slum, but somehow I got a break in life. So sometimes when you see the sweating coming out because of the passion and whatever it is, behind the noise, there are people. And we share the same umbilical cord. It shouldn't be like that. I am so disappointed.
We used to tell Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga that he's doing police of conmanship. And even President Uhuru Kenyatta, serikali hii ndio iko na conmanship ya juu. You cannot promise people that you reduce tax, then you double.
In politics,
there is the issue of trust. For you to turn around and then stab the same people who gave you that trust, there is no other level of dishonesty. Imabo, utaona dunia tu.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea today. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are in our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Even though inaendelea.
Hapo ndo tumefika. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You good?
I'm okay. I'm just trying to settle down.
Please do.
I'm okay. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. It's the 18th, eh?
Today is the 18th of December. For all
intent and purposes.
Bus. And for all, what is that they say, whatever of doubt.
For Almighty and Sunday.
It's actually the 18th of December. Just nobody should be confused about what date it actually is. Hey. Mambo lakini?
Kofiti.
Uko sure?
All things considered.
All things considered, you're okay.
I'm alive.
Yeah.
I'm here.
It
is still dark outside. At least nothing has changed. So
not too much.
Not too much.
Sheesh.
Wewe kwaje?
Mimi niko poa.
Najaribu. Karibu mtaa.
Asante sana. Tuko hapa. Tukiendelea.
Toka mwanzo hadi tamati. From the beginning to the end.
How do you did a what now?
Toka mwanzo hadi tamati. Yeah.
What's tamati?
Tamati is the end.
Oh, the end. Tamati is the end. Okay, fine.
Mwanzo ni start from the start.
Mwanzo, okay, I get it. I get it. That one I know.
Yeah.
Sindio?
Utanifunza takufunza tamati.
Takufunza takufunza mpri. Utanifunza tamati. Sawa basi. Good morning and welcome to Thursday. This is a Situation Room. Dennis Aseto, as you can see, is here. And then I've joined him like that. EVE has gone from unicorn to Minnie Mouse. Oh, she's so cute. You should see her. Did you notice?
Oh,
yeah, you hadn't seen it?
I hadn't seen
She's so cute.
Surprise us. Tomorrow wear the full suit, the Grinch suit.
With the tail?
Yeah.
Even cuter. It's Christmas after all. Joyline, good morning. Is she there? I can see.
Yes.
I know this thing just reflects left, right, and
in
center.
white.
She's in white. I wanted to say, okay. Leave it.
She's in a white dress with a very beautiful threadings at the back.
Very what?
Beautiful threads at the back.
Okay, yes, it's true.
She makes the dress look good.
Miss Kia, are you okay now? Everything is all right in the land of joy? Oh, okay. Good morning, everybody. And good morning, Christine. Toa Shuka.
Vakofia.
Yeah, we know it's cold, but you'll be all right.
Yeah.
You'll be all right as we get into these things. Joy to the world and all those good things after all. And we're getting into it this morning. It's 6:15, and we get into the Situation Room today into December, and things seem to be shutting down around the country. Shutting down in the sense that people are now going home, traveling, trying to be with friends and family in whatever capacity that you can, and that's what the Christmas season then does for folks.
The best time to visit Nairobi is now.
Yeah.
Because then you get to see the potential the city has if there was proper management, especially of traffic, of roads, and amenities just well taken care of. Because then you get to see from the big Mwanzo had it tamati of a street, and just get to enjoy what Nairobi has to offer. Now, this would actually be a tourism mode package.
Yeah, for come and see. Yeah,
to just come and see what Nairobi has.
Is
empty.
Without the hustle and the bustle. This is what Nairobi can actually look like. It is true. It is very true.
We have conversations, eh?
Yes, we do. Somebody was trying to tell me to do something, but I can't remember. Anyway, I'll come back to that in just a minute. But let me tell you what the conversations that we'll be having today are as we get into the first Friday of the week, as we like to say, right here on Thursday. So we will start off with a conversation round about what's happening in the state of healthcare, a year in review, and the Okoh strike threat. Kenya Union of Clinical Officers have said, you know what, guys, we can't do this anymore. We had issued a strike notice earlier on, and we withdrew that because it seemed as though we could have a conversation. Apparently that conversation is not being had. So the clinical officers have said, you know what, we are not doing this. Now let's understand this a bit, that if you go to really any level 2, level 3 hospital around the country, health facility around the country, the likelihood that the person who attends to you after you've had your vitals checked and all of this is a clinical officer. Not necessarily a doctor. It's a clinical officer, that they essentially can do what doctors can do, but this is, we're talking about a degree in difference.
Yeah,
So they are the ones who are seeing you, folks.
Yeah, the most important thing, rather, where rubber meets the road, is the fact that every Kenyan, whenever they're being attended to by a clinical officer, we refer to them as doctors.
Yes.
Because those are the people you meet on a daily basis.
It is the person who is
that's how important they are.
For sure. Yeah. For sure. Ni daktari. So it's not going to be anybody different. Now, these are the folks who are saying, you know what, you've been treating us a certain type of way. We don't like this anymore. We've talked to you about it to try and get a change or smooth out the kink in this armor, but it seems not to be working. So they're saying, you know what, fine. We are going for Christmas. We are going for strike. They're not doing it.
23rd, eh?
23rd of December, which is Tuesday.
Yeah. We're ready for Tuesday.
Are you ready for Tuesday? Tuesday is going to be that day, my friend.
But the saddest part is, I remember when we were having Peterson here the other time, he actually left the show to go attend that meeting.
Yes.
That saw them withdraw the strike.
Exactly.
Back then.
Let's hear what it is today that has made them reinstitute the strike notice. And we'll hear what exactly the issues are, and just hope and pray that this can be sorted out. These are the things that we talk about when we talk about, excuse me, first world, developing world, I see you.
Excuse me, universal healthcare.
I see you.
Squatty.
At 8 o'clock, we'll have a conversation with you, one of the last that we'll do this year, and talk about things and see how things are changing and turning on the trajectory. We'll do that with you at 8, and the phone lines will be open for us to be able to have that conversation. And then we're going to end things at 9 o'clock with a conversation around ending GBV. This is the year 2025. It's a year to the deadline that had been given by Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, that by 2026, GBV will be a thing of the past. Well, not so much, because we're still in the middle of it.
Yeah, the report 2024-2025 says 97 cases of femicide were reported in the country. And there is a warning, and actually activists have labeled it an endemic crisis.
There you go. Dr. Susan Gitao is a psychologist, and Victoria Wajiko is a gender activist and author. They will both join us at 9 o'clock. Let's just be real and say, look, this thing, do we have a handle on it, or are we just going to continue
pussyfooting
around the issues? And just hit the nail on the head, my friends. This is what needs to be done. Jail a couple of folks here, make it that families cannot intervene. And these, in fact, see, chiefs, these 10,000 of them, how many of them went to State House the other day? They have a direct role in something like, in fact, I'm going to ask that question, ending GBV. A lot of these things happen in the locales.
Yeah.
So should we not be joining hands with these folks? After all, they've been given power and they'll be given tablets.
And security in the vehicles.
Yeah. So can we take that conversation to them instead of now trying to say, let's write memoranda and let's go visit other countries and have conferences? No, there's stuff on the ground that needs to be done. Let's get ahead and do it. And those are the conversations that we'll be having today as we get into it proper today. Cindy, all right. What is our proverb today?
The situation, first of all, today on the clinical workers goes ahead with the proverb that we had the day before yesterday, which says, the one who comes into equity must come with clean hands. Clean hands, right? That is where the doctors find themselves today. But anyway, today, in the panel of wolves, a sheep can never get a fair hearing. In the panel of wolves, a sheep can never get a fair hearing. Why do you think so?
I'm telling you, because you would imagine that sometimes the wolf wants to wear this sheep's clothing or eat the sheep.
Yeah.
So how am I going to be just and fair to you when I want to control, disempower, and consume you?
Yeah.
I can't. So one of us cannot be on the ones to devour this other person. They would never get a fair hearing.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we just see ourselves in positions in life when the person who's making the decision concerning you, for some reason, wants to have an element of control over you, the likelihood of them treating you fairly then dims.
Yes. Most of the time it is packaged as my office is open, it is walk-in, ready to always listen, only for you to walk in and be victimized by the very same person who said, I am here to hear you.
Tell me about it.
So then again, if you combine this with the other proverb, just how clean are your hands when you're coming on that table to have a discussion? They're weaving themselves nicely.
Well, I can see what you're doing. I've seen you from far. And I hope that when you send a message to the messagee, the messagee gets it. Because it's pertinent issues that we ought to be looking at. So good morning, everybody, and karibu sana. Our audience on KTN is here, and even as we look into the meanings of that proverb, be able to hear from other folks what they think about it today. We welcome you to the room this morning as we have these conversations. Our live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X, and those who are listening around the country getting where you need to go this morning, do this so safely, even as we have the conversations that we do. Which song are you singing? I don't know. Which one should I sing? I don't know. Before we say hello to everybody, the frog in my throat has refused to go away. But frog go. Oh, there's another one that I really love.
Yeah.
It's actually it's kind of like a prayer. It's "Oh Little Child of Bethlehem." Okay, so let me sing it, and it's a prayer for all of us today. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, little town of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in. Be born in us today. We hear the Christmas angels, the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel. Yep. There's the prayer, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
As we get into it.
For a split second, Emmanuel would be Aseto, but
I know.
Baba Aseto decided otherwise.
Emmanuel in there.
What's that?
25th December.
Dennis.
I will be calling you Shouting. Shouting, singing, put it everywhere. Don't worry. Me, this Christmas, the way I will celebrate you is like no other. You just wait and see.
Give you my flowers when I'm still alive.
Kabisa, why are you waiting for another day?
Exactly.
Yep. So let's say a very good morning to everybody who's tuned in today, and thank you for joining us every day as you do. A quick salams, as you all take time to say salams. As you say them to us, you say them to everybody as well. Kiarie Peter says, good morning, be proud of your small wins, Kabisa. The small ones, be proud of the small ones so that you can then be ready for the big ones. You tune in from Mombasa this morning. Desmond Oti says, good morning. Dennis, say hi to all the ladies, including Achieng.
Achieng is you. Hi, how are you?
Oh, I was going to say, did we have somebody else that I didn't know?
You're Christian Achieng yesterday.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Sawa.
Hi, Achieng.
It's going to take me a minute.
Hi, Joyline. Hi, EVE. Hi, Christine. And
you're doing what you've been told. All right. Sawa. Justice Muhammad Ibrahim has justified his death on Justice Thursday. May he rest in peace. May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace.
It's just interesting that he was 2 weeks away from retirement. He's one of the ones that the justice system is looking to replace. And then he says, I'm going to take my final bow now.
Yeah.
And may he rest in peace. There's quite a lot that he did in terms of the pursuit of justice. And we just pray that those he loved and those who loved him will be comforted.
And to the legal fraternity, it's a blow.
Yes.
And we just wish you well, Yeah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. To the justice.
Robert Mbogo says, good morning, tuned in from Mombasa. And Leo says, good morning. Hello, Princess Ndu and Aseto. Good morning to you. We celebrated Minority Rights Day. Have the Ogiek people been facilitated to return their ancestral lands? No. Or was it a UN Day taking? Yes, come on. They're not there. They've been kicked out. They're somewhere wondering about. The ancestral land has been taken, essentially. And so that's the answer to your question. George Adimo says, good morning, listening from Rongo. Maize price up again, 2 kg before milling. What's the price now? Tell us. Agutu Ogembo says, good morning, and he's tuned in. Hisa Daniel is tuned in this morning, says, Spice, your best friend is your greatest enemy. Let's be careful with the people around us. My friend, if there was a truer thing. My goodness, you're so right. Leo is asking whether Kenya has a legal advisor.
AG.
The AG is the legal advisor. Yeah. That's the job. That's her job. Dorcas Odur. That's her. Because many of the administration's policy or executive orders face legal challenges and now have been deemed unconstitutional. The state given leeway to correct itself. One would imagine that that's what the AG would be doing in her position at this time.
Question that follows that is the office of the AG so independent that she's able to give advice and the advice should be picked up? That's another debate.
Yep, it is. It is. One to watch. Bonjour, mes amis, says Linda Gola. Bonjour à toi. How are you this morning? Tuning in from Preston, UK is Rahim Sula Omar. Good to see the Treasury CS shouting in a cultural festival than working in the Treasury. Sindo, it's good. Erica War says, good morning, guys. Good morning to you. Jennifer Atenya, good morning, Spice family. Kwanini leo how you've not reminded us that it's your birthday, you and Dennis? I see why you're smiling. David Mangera says, good morning, TSR. Good morning to you. Samuel Mureda says, good morning to Dennis. Say hello to the team. Good morning, team. Today is my wife's birthday. Please sing for her. Have a blessed day ahead, family and listeners. Gladys, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And may you have many, many more. You said who am I? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gladys. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you and keep you. And may the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up the light of his countenance upon you and give you peace today and forevermore.
Gladys, ask December babies tunakupenda tu.
Kwenda uko nyinyi watu.
Mimi na nani na Jennifer tunakupenda sana.
Sasa, Rahimtula Omar says we're looking good and tomorrow we should wear Christmas-inspired outfits. Sasa, now let me tell you. You see the one that EVE has worn today, that's enough for everybody for the rest of the year. We're good.
No, I used to have a Christmas sweater. Where did it go?
A Christmas sweater? Yeah. All right, you can wear it tomorrow, Emmanuel. No problem.
I mean,
you'll wear for the rest of us.
No, I think I have a Christmas scarf. I'll wear that instead.
Let me see what I can do. No, I don't have anything.
I think I do.
Twinkle, twinkle something. I wear a twinkling star on my head. Yeah. Give Evelyn a hell of a time to control the cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, so tumesikia. Good morning, Power presenters. Have love from Doha. Thank you so much, Robert Minor. Good morning to you. Nelson Mungai says, good morning, Spice team. Looking forward to today's conversation. I'm listening in from Peterborough in the UK. Good morning to you. Cyrus Kalasinga says, good morning, Spices. Seemingly things are not adding up. I'm considering trying subtraction. I've been trying to add knife. Time to subtract. You've tried the
guys
first
are
one.
trying addition and subtraction, but some of us are dividing.
Some of us are hoping things can multiply. Where?
Divide, and then you get it to 10 remainder 1. Anyway, let's continue.
Carol Nyambura says, good morning, Nawapenda Sana. Wishing you a blessed day ahead. Good morning to you. Zach is tuning in this morning. VP Singaporeans, we have agreed to each other. Spice from the Spice Room, Kabisa. Hey, Peter has said, I love you, Ndu. Well, how about that? I love you too, Peter. Kabisa. Charles Onyango says, good morning, my good people. Nice to see you now. Penda for free. Kabisa, thank you so much. Where? So many frequencies not working. What's going on? Lillian Atieno, good morning. We'll have a look at that one real quick. Since Tuesday. All right, Lillian, I see you. My Prince says, good morning. The French military is coming to Kenya and they are free to commit crimes. Says who? Edwin says, good morning. Our governors, have you seen the roads in Addis Ababa? So wide with pedestrian and cycling lanes, beautiful lights, grass and trees. Lord, please save our cities and towns. Yes, so.
The government is intentional in changing how Ethiopia looks. It actually looks beautiful. That you have to say. Addis looks nice.
Done a very good job. I mean, we're talking about the same country that's built a 14 million shilling dam dollar dam with their own money.
With their own money.
So
citizens. Are we able to do that? Yes, we are able. Will it do the job? Hapo iko mushkil.
Mushkil.
That's
another word. Hey, all right. Hey, somebody has said, it's not even somebody, it's David. David said, you sing with me tomorrow. Or I sing, you dance.
Okay.
It depends on how the song is going. I don't know any.
So.
But
I cheer her up.
He does.
Cheering master.
Thank you so much, Ami. Good morning to you. Keep fit Para says good morning. Thank you so much. Achengero Kamano. Asante sana. Thomas Omosa says, waiting for the big conversation. Ni hawa Kenya, hope mko wote. Anything lately? We see you. Good morning. Sisi tuko. Na wewe? Are you okay? See, confirm that you're okay.
Nico, fiti. Yako fiti.
Bwangi Juma says, good morning, Team Spice. The narrative of bottom-up is long gone. Now it's transforming Kenya to Singapore class. You know, somebody said to me yesterday, you know what? These people from Singapore should actually write a letter and say, you guys should leave us alone.
Yeah.
Stop comparing yourselves to us all the time. Bana, find your own way. I thought that was funny. Find your way, find your way. Oh, so now.
Yes.
We look into the headline.
Kapsa?
Okay. Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard. Trump hits again. If you were wondering why, putting Kenya's neighbors on partial restrictions while slamming others with outright entry bans is a blunt signal from President Donald Trump's White House. Coming after his harsh rhetoric towards Somalis, it also raises the stakes for Kenya. Even the recent health deals and cordial ties, Nairobi cannot assume it is safe from tougher vetting. With porous regional borders and close interaction with nationals from countries on Washington's watch list, Kenyans could face heavier scrutiny, more visa denials, and a chill across business and people-to-people links. Yeah, so Donald Trump came and said, you guys over there, we're not doing this anymore. So how about Kulayo's ban? And so you wonder,
Your WhatsApp group, Kula blocking. Mimi ndiye admin. Kako kwa kona.
Snooze 30 minutes uko kidogo. Essentially, that's what he has said. I'm the admin of this WhatsApp world group.
Yes.
And you guys are being lefted for a minute.
They lefted.
Yeah. That's what's going on. I mean, we make it's funny because we can do that. Like to escape sometimes the harsh reality of some of these things, that you then apply some humor to it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to survive it.
Yeah.
Because the world is very interesting, that you can actually be given a timeout from the world. From the world.
Yeah.
Justice Mohammed Ibrahim takes a final bow. 2 weeks before his retirement, Supreme Court Judge Ibrahim died at Aga Khan University Hospital. Appointed to the court's first bench on the 16th of June 2011, he served under 3 chief justices following the 2010 constitution. Of course, that is Chief Justice Willie Mutunga, Chief Justice David Maraga, and currently Chief Justice Martha Koome. Fresh clues after CCTV autopsy reveal that crash killed Jirongo. The CCTV footage was spotty here and there, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, we see the bus actually ramming into the vehicle that is said to have had Cyrus Jirongo in it. Note how I use my words very carefully. That's the headline there on page 2. And of course, that story of Justice Ibrahim on page 3. All right, let's take a look at some of the other stories making headlines in Kenya's Bold newspaper this morning. And we see that Trump tightens U.S. entry ban on 12 African states. We'll let you know who those are in just a minute. Ruto's bid to win Raila's turf still on amid jitters. Does he really need it? That's the question. If he wants to win the election, is it for optics? Or does he actually need an ODM stronghold behind him? Gideon Moy calls for peace amid Transmara fights and says, come on, guys, we shouldn't be doing this. Well, look at that. End of an era as Japan pays firm Diageo 297 billion shillings for a sip of EABL. I have to say that's an awesome headline. Brian Goki wrote this story, and it's a great headline there to look into the details.
You know, when you look at businesses that are in this country, I know Diageo is from London. It's London-based, right? But you look at the stake that has been bought is 297 billion shillings. It's more than what it is you're getting from the Safaricom shares. Goes to tell you, if you just create proper business working environment, you will have businesses here that will give you the taxes and the funds that you need for the country to move forward. Just saying, nasema tu.
Sindio?
Nasema tu. Because iko hapa hii ni Kenya shillings. Yeah, 297. Just saying.
The money that you're looking for is right here, because you know what? Counties splash 1.5 billion shillings on travel in 3 months, according to this report. Sasa tunenda hapa, tunenda pale. 1.5 billion. Spent. Done. Ooh. Now, one would ask, the money that you spent, did we reap any benefits from it?
Safari tu pa DM hapa, China mandazi hapa kule. So yeah.
It's a question, c'est la question, tout le monde. Senior school placements begin Friday amid transition concerns. So that's tomorrow. People are going to start to hear where the ministry has essentially placed them. And let's see. Hey, Friday is going to be an interesting day because many people will be confused. Others will be disappointed. Others will say never. We're going to see a lot of school changes. That is going to happen, whether we like it or not. Unless between now and like this tomorrow morning, if there's a miracle, God comes down from heaven. Okay, God is here. But sasa thunder and lightning, ile mudavadi, ilikuwa naitwa nini?
Earthquake.
Bas, yo. Unless that happens, then to now change this thing, then maybe we can see some. But the way it's going, with current inputs, Kesho, it will be crazy.
Let me tell you, you talked about earthquake. Me, I will tell you. Remember the same way we were given weather updates, weather report forecast on how it was going to rain. It did not rain. Then all of a sudden it's going to be dry. Then it started raining. That's exactly how the education system is.
Be ready for tomorrow when this placement begins and people will see that they were supposed to be studying STEM according to them and they wanted to go to Moi Girls.
Yeah.
Alafu nini yako, it's reading.
Guess who's smiling? Private schools.
Private schools are saying, there's confusion there. Oh no,
we are ready for Friday.
Come unto me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Because that's what the private schools are saying right now.
Because I thee have thou solution.
Unto me shall thee find.
Shall thee find.
My friend. Hey. They are the ones who are saying, we see you. Sasa, a firm has written to the EACC for Kenya after 1.9 billion shilling supply payment in quotes went missing. Yani he was supposed to be paid 1.9 billion, then it didn't show up. Allah, where is it? Hayiko, it went missing. Money is never missing. It's taken.
It's taken.
Somebody stole the money.
Yes, it is theft. Waliiba.
Just tell us who stole the money. Nyamweya went missing. You know what goes missing? When you drop your keys in a mall.
Yeah.
And you went and you realize, oh, my keys are missing because of 1, 2, 3. That's missing.
That's missing.
Yes. But money.
But if it's
you can't
missing,
drop 1.9 billion shillings out of your wallet.
yeah, if it's missing and someone took it and went to your car and stole something from it, that it stops being missing. That is theft. It was stolen.
If money went to where it was not supposed to go, and this money was moved by an individual, it is not missing, it was taken. Without permission, it is stealing.
Bas.
Ama?
Bas. Why easy?
Stop sugarcoating things. Call them as they are. In the business pages of the Standard, this is a very interesting story, and that we are carrying it in the Standard is even more interesting.
Yeah.
Christmas on a budget as Kenyans reduce festive season spending. I wonder why.
What will you be spending on this Christmas?
Spending what?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
See, Bas, you tell us what's in the other papers.
I'll be spending it in my house. Daily Nation, Jirongo death mystery. What are we talking about? Why did Jirongo drive towards Naivasha is the question. Have police questioned persons Jirongo interacted with last before he left Karen? Those are the questions being asked. Why is the bus company reluctant to make public the passenger manifest? Where are other witnesses, particularly passengers, to corroborate the bus driver's account? And why have police not recorded statements from them? That gentleman said there are over 60 people in the bus.
67.
67. Have they recorded statements, and what is their account?
But let me ask you, sorry, I know you're looking into it. But usually when an accident like that happens, you see that another person has come out of the bus and said, unajua ilikuwa inaenda hivi na mimi nilikuwa nimeshangaa vile ilikuwa alafu hii na hii ilifanyika, and then boom.
Nikashtukia tu
people come out, others are looking distraught, whatever. Somebody even comes back and says, Niliona. Have you seen somebody who comes and said, Niliona?
No.
Not even one. It was just the driver who went on to give us a soliloquy about what happened. But nobody else, 67 people, not one person has come forward to say this and this. I'm just saying.
You know, it is highly unlikely that everyone in that bus was asleep. There's always that one person who is always awake.
Yeah.
I would be that person because I never sleep whenever I'm in a bus. I just can't.
Yeah.
Me, I'm the kind who likes it quiet.
So now
I like it quiet. ODM without Raila. MPs plot defections. No, please, yes,
Focus.
to ODM. Some Orange Party MPs opposed to the outfit working with President Ruto, including endorsement of his re-election, and others apprehensive about rigged primaries, have signalled they will decamp in the run-up to the 2027 general election. Some of the names that have been given here is Karoli Omondi, Suba South MP, Edwin Sifuna, Nairobi Senator, Richard Onyonka, Kisii Senator, Kaleba Misi Saboti MP, Anthony Kibagendi, Kitutu Church South MP, Babu Owino, Embakasi East MP, Mark Nyamita, that is my MP from Uriri, yes. Question is, even as they plan to walk out, where are they going to? And what are the constituencies they represent, where are they looking? So is it decamping because ODM is in shambles, or is it decamping because perhaps in some areas that you're in, you have presidential candidates who control the region, so it makes sense to align with them? Maswali too. How globe-trotting county officials splashed millions on lucrative trips. Latest report by the Controller of Budget, Margaret Nyakango, shows devolved units spent more on foreign and local travel. Remember, again yesterday we said counties absorbed zero. 20
counties absorbed. 20 counties spent 0 shillings on development.
You know, I think we need to go back and look at these 20 counties and how much they spent on foreign travel. Yes, then we can connect the dots. And now the sad story of Supreme Court Judge Mohammed Ibrahim, who was admitted as an advocate of the High Court in 1983, was appointed to the top court in 2011. He bowed out. Yes, today. Yes. And Sarah's Jirongo, political strategist or just a clown in smart suit and suave lifestyle. That is a story on page 2 and page 3 of the Daily Nation. And Jirongo death mystery, yes, it was a car crash. But, so there is a but, that is, this postmortem forms part of an ongoing investigation. We have concluded our examination, but we have also taken samples for further analysis. So samples that would mean it's a toxicological process, again, that is going to be taking place. So let's see what the labs would be saying a little bit later.
Right.
Now, Kenya, France enter defense agreement. Ile walikuwa wamesema wanakuja hapa kutawaka moto. Let's see. Kenya is into such agreements with many other countries. So let's just see what the details exactly would be. And Oburu's fresh terms to back Ruto in 2027.
Okay.
So it is not until, it is beyond.
That's what he has said now, it's beyond.
Oburu's fresh terms to back Ruto in 2027. So backing Ruto 2027 means beyond.
If we're going to back you, then 1, 2, 3 must be done, is what he's saying essentially.
Okay, and hapa nilikuwa Migori County. I need to go to visit that place. Sijaenda huko. And Health Ministry probes Nakuru Hospital over fraud negligence. That is according to our CS Eden Duale. And we have that story on counties splashing millions on workshops and travels. And over 1.1 million learners prepare for senior school amid fees puzzle. Hey, mambo ni nyingi. Fees puzzle, pathway puzzle,
selection puzzle, placement puzzle. It's just a puzzle.
It's just a puzzle. And there is no solution. And Kenya's STEM champion among Global Teacher Prize finalists, that teacher, Shalom Mweu Sila, during an interview with The Nation, he has been listed as one of the top teachers in the world.
Yep.
Yeah, from Machakos County. Yes.
It's fantastic to see. And such people should be celebrated, I think.
Yes, they should. They should, I agree. Look at the Star.
On the front page of the Star, the headline here is Diageo sells EABL stake to Japan brewer for 300 billion shillings. Does that mean there's going to be sake in Kenya? Okay, sorry. Was I too excited about that? But Asahi Group is the largest brewer in the Asian country, and so there obviously shares now in EABL, and it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do with the business coming forward. There's also, of course, the details there of the Jirongo crash, and government pathologist Johansson Odur there flanked by other pathologists, including Cyrus Jirongo's longtime family doctor, Dr. Wanyoike. So we saw that happen yesterday. Penalties jumped to 26 billion shillings as pending bills pile, shows the COB report. Now we know that 123 billion shillings was paid the other day to road contractors. Interesting that this happened. You still have quite a number of money to pay because the pending bills were inching closer to 800 billion shillings. So penalties, these are the penalties on that money, is 26 billion. Just the penalties is 26 billion. My head is already aching.
You can imagine how much you'd have, how many people would have been paid by the 26 billion that you're now paying as penalties.
I just want to know if these jobs were actually completed, these ones for which there's money being owed, were they completed? Because if they were, that's a shameful indictment on government, because that means that we already know that when you tender for government, that it comes from a budget line.
Yes.
It is money that was budgeted for. So when you don't pay these people, where did the money go? Where did it go? Is anybody asking that question? Beyond paying the folks the money that you owe them, you budgeted for this money. That would mean that either the money was there or you had confirmed the sources from which it was coming. Now, when they completed this work and you did not pay them, what on earth were you doing? And why now do we have these numbers piling to the point whereby 26 billion shillings is what is being charged in penalties?
Why are we not seeing heads roll and people just end up in jail? I mean, until that time when we jail such people, until that time when we take that first world dream, Singaporean dream, and start jailing the corrupt in this country. You
need to wake up from the dream and actually do things that are in front of you. Wake up from the dream. This dream, you dream, is good to dream. But now, come on, there's some things that need to be done. This is the same place where yesterday, there was a clip, and it's actually tuned to one of the story yesterday. There was a clip of folks in this country, in this Kenya, who right now are waiting for relief food. Food rationing is happening. There are people who've lined up, and there's a sack of maize, there's some biscuit rations, and the chief of the area is saying, tumeshukuru sana, at least chakula imetufikia.
I did a story yesterday.
I was watching it, blew my mind, because I was like, what? It's the same country? Yes. And you're telling me that 5 trillion shillings put into a fund is going to sort the problem out? No, come on, man. The micro indicators are bare, and they're hitting you in the face in terms of what needs to be done.
Do you know how far Kilifi is from Galana Kulalu?
It's
It's just next
just
door.
there. It's just next door.
Right? So if that's the situation where you find there is irrigation that is happening, what are we doing to empower people of Kilifi who are predominantly farmers to enable them get into irrigation to grow their own food and feed themselves? What are we doing? So here we are want to get to Singapore. Is Singapore giving food rations? No. So how are we solving that problem? If we don't fix the basics, hatusongi.
Fix the basics. And I thought about it yesterday. You see these complicated math things that people do later. Trigonometry, calculus, advanced calculus, double math and statistics. Those things where now your brain can fry. You know what? None of those things would be possible without your basic addition, subtraction.
Thank you.
Basic. If you don't know addition, subtraction, you will not be able to do these other things over here. If you don't have your basics right, food, shelter, education for your people across board, then now you want to tell me that you want to go and start building super highways and grand infrastructure. Who will live there? What are you carrying on those roads? What are you carrying on the roads? Who will live in those houses?
Building
what are you doing?
People don't have money to pay that toll.
And then people, even the money that you have, people are stealing it, and then you're not tightening the screws on how that money is being stolen. I'm not saying you shouldn't dream, because it's a very good thing. I'm not even saying you shouldn't aspire. I think we should aspire.
We should.
I think it is good that the president is insisting on this thing, because you know what? It gives people an opportunity to see just how really far we are, and insist that you need proper governance structures in place to ensure that such things can happen. And it will open the eyes of people to realize, oh, you know what? Actually, you know what? We're really far away from this thing. And now let us insist that these basics are done. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah.
Teen murder trials opens with testimonies from 2 witnesses. This is a disturbing story that's carried in the Star today. And of course, we're looking at the India-Kenya partnership being explored in traditional medicine ahead of the summit. And the COB is running roughshod on counties, and they're saying, you know what? Concerned as counties failed to remit 600 million shilling state dues in 3 months. Muko na pesa yetu. Na mjatupatia. COB says, nah, guys. Gasta do better.
Lakini si county ziko na shida.
I'm telling you, you're not developing, uko na pesa yetu.
I know. Munasafiri sana. Yani, in every corner there is an issue. Every corner there is an issue, which then brings the question in terms of sustainability of these counties. If at all they're unable to deliver, why have them?
Exactly.
You know.
You look worried.
Can me choke. No, honestly, no, it's frustrating much. You know, it's really frustrating, because think about it. Even in Nairobi, where we are right now, we are in a county.
Yes.
If things in this county do not work, that means your life is just miserable. When you walk around and it is open sewer, you know, garbage has not been collected. Ile ngumi ni mbwegze, haitafanya.
Sindo.
Haiwezi.
Ngumi ni what now?
Ngumi si mbwegze.
Okay.
Yo ngumi hakuna.
No, it's true. I'm laughing this morning because I don't want to shout. Because if I start shouting, Funga show trend home. But at this point, because these are the things that we've been saying, and we close the year continuing to say them. Let me tell you the story that's on page 4 of the Standard. Trump tightens U.S. entry ban on 12 African states. President Donald Trump on Tuesday signed a proclamation imposing full travel restrictions and entry limitations on 4 more African countries in a move that further tightens immigration controls. The new countries include South Sudan, Kenya's neighbor to the north, and a member of the East African community. This is even as it flagged Tanzania for visa overstays and included the country in the list of partial restriction. This increases the number of countries around Kenya that are facing hostility from the US and could complicate matters for Kenyans eyeing opportunities in the US, especially trade and business partnerships. Other EAC countries on the full restriction list are the Democratic Republic of Congo and Somalia, while Burundi is on the partial restriction list. Other African countries in the full restricted list are Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, South Sudan, bringing the total of fully restricted African countries to 12. The US put Tanzania on the list of partial restrictions and entry limitations, joining Burundi, who continues to be in the partial restrictions list. Tanzania has also been flagged for visa overstays, which comes shortly after the US said it would comprehensively review its ties with it following the country's bungled elections in October. The UN condemned human rights violations seen in violence against its otherwise peaceful citizens, which reportedly led to death of hundreds of people and enforced disappearances. The country also noted that Tanzanians were violating visa conditions. Now here, Atuta.
Atuta,
okay. That's what it looks like.
You know, even just aside from fact that our neighbors are finding it difficult to travel to the US due to their visa restrictions that we're now seeing happening, there is also the fact that if you just go back to the United States and statements that have been made by Donald Trump, especially from the Somali community, who majority of them Kenyan Somalis as well, who are in Minnesota, and one would say that it is already happening, though silently.
Yep.
You know, in terms of extra scrutiny on who is applying for visa, going to the States, it is already happening. Only that now it has not been stated. It is happening. You know, because remember that the world is such a small place, because when you find individuals at the immigration being arrested for issuing documents to non-Kenyans, that is information that is picked by the US intelligence in the country, and they share that with their visa officers, and will definitely affect anyone who's seeking for the visas. Remember as well, in South Africa, there is also Kenyans who are arrested in South Africa, who are arrested, processing visas for how do you call them? For the white South Africans who are seeking asylum in the United States. So that as well is there. And you find Kenya, kila mahali tuko, being looked at negatively. And that is perhaps a way that the immigration department of the country needs to relook on how it's handling its issues and decisions that will make it better for the Mwananchi.
Well, and I think we can't run away from the fact that what I want to call Trumpist nationalism is really taking place in the US today. And you're likely, look, just as it comes in waves, you're likely to see that after 2027, 2020, going into 2028, when a new president comes into the US, a lot of these things may be overturned. Especially if a Democrat now comes and sits in that seat. So you can't take away the character of a man from the position of leadership, in this case the presidency, that the things that he believes as an individual inherently, what is his creed, is going to play out in his policy. It will happen. And so I guess with the waves, it goes and comes, it crashes, it crescendos, that you will see it comes differently when you have a different leader. And that's just the way the world works, I guess. The policy of a country changes to some degree or takes a different turn depending on who the person in the position of leadership is.
So now the question would be, with all these presidential decisions that are being made, the executive orders, one would ask the question, if the next president then forms government, would this be a big ticket item for him at the office at the time, or will there be other pressing issues that have to be addressed there and then?
Well, I mean, what happened on the second Thursday of January when Trump was inaugurated? He sat in the Oval Office that day after that and basically repealed a lot of the things that Joe Biden had when he was in the first day. He didn't even think about it. He said, X this, institute this, 1, 2, 3. I believe there were about 19 on that day. So it's really what you've been sitting thinking, the day I become president, this was going to happen.
That's what I'm going to do.
And exactly what he did. So it'll be interesting to see. It's kind of like, it's just true. I like that analogy that you gave earlier. It's a global WhatsApp group. And if you're going to start insulting admin, or you're going to start behaving in a way in which admin doesn't like, we'll time you out. Yep. That's what's happening with the US and the world today. Okay, so we're getting to the top of the hour. We're going to have a conversation shortly about clinical officers and what's happening there. But today is Thursday. And if you had been to the Sarit Center yesterday, then you would have been able to buy me my gift. But seeing as you did not go yesterday and buy me my gift, perhaps today you can do that. Because you know why? Masai Market is happening this festive season all the way through to the 24th of December. So you have a few days to do this. At the Sarit Center, Wednesday and Thursday. And while you're doing all that lovely shopping, there'll be choral presentations. People are singing ding dong merrily on high, the bells are sweetly ringing, glow. That's happening. And then you can also shop, you can win. There are prizes all over the place, and you can chalk all of these points up on your Sarit Loyalty app. These things are happening while you can sit on Santa's lap and tell him, in this case, sit on Mrs. Santa's lap and tell her how you've been a good boy this whole season and that you have been nice and not naughty. All of these wonderful things happening at Sarit this Christmas season. Get on down to the Sarit Center every day until the 24th and enjoy. Good morning. It's 7 a.m.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Lea Ubaga. The disputed Migingo Island is in Kenya. President William Ruto has insisted. Speaking at the Pini Luo community celebrations in Nyatike, Migori County, the president has warned Ugandan security officials against harassing Kenyan fishermen. He added that the government will use all means to ensure that the border dispute is resolved, adding that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will use diplomatic channels.
Hii Migingo ni sehemu ya Kenya na tumekubaliana ya kwamba hiyo Migingo kwa sababu ni sehemu ya Kenya tutahakikisha ya kwamba hiyo sehemu kwa mbinu zote, mbinu za diplomasia na mbinu zingine zote tutahakikisha kwamba wananchi wetu hawaangaishwi na askari wa nchi zingine. Tunataka kuhakikisha kwamba kuna amani tuweze kufanya biashara.
The president's statement was based on complaints submitted by leaders in the area led by Governor James Orengo of Siaya.
Kuna matatizo hapa kwa ziwa hapa. Migingo yuko hapa, Migingo yuko hapa. Migingo yuko hapa, Migingo. Migingo ni kanye. Siamuru ni rais mononge kama Migingo nitie. Rais, unajua Waganda wanatoka kule wanakuja kutusumbua hapa. Tunakuomba uingilie maneno ya Migingo kabisa hadivo iye.
On politics, the president has urged ODM party leaders to continue collaborating with him to achieve development projects, a statement that was echoed by the minority leader in the National Assembly, Millie Odhiambo.
Baba wetu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga alituacha na akatueleza tutembee pamoja. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Ni kweli ama si kweli? Na tulikubaliana tunatembea pamoja mambo mawili: kupanga maendeleo ya Kenya yetu. Tunaendelea pamoja kupanga siasa na uongozi wa taifa letu.
Baba ametuacha kama tunaona Canaan. I'm hearing a lot of people are beating about the bush. Umetupatia Honorable John Mbadi, and we thank you for that. You have given us Opio Wandai energy. We thank you for that. You have given us Omolo internal security. We thank you for that. There's only one thing remaining. There's only one thing remaining. Your Excellency, hold our hands. Baba ametuacha kama tunaona Canaan. Tunataka kufika Canaan.
ODM leader Oburu Odinga has called for Nyanza region to experience the same development as other parts of the country.
This development should not be concentrated to only Luo Nyanza. It should be for the whole of Kenya. What we are demanding as the Luos is our share. Our share which we have been missing. We have not been getting our fair share of the national cake. And Your Excellency, this is what we want. We don't want other people's share. Those people who are talking of shareholding, our Mungu atawaona. Hakuna shareholding. All Kenyans are shareholding because they all pay taxes, Your Excellency.
Hundreds of residents are facing famine following the drought in Kilifi County. A large number of people are forced to travel long distances to find basic necessities such as water, as many sources dry up due to drought. The worst affected areas include Ganze, Magarini and Kaloleni, as there has been no rain this season. According to the Red Cross, more than 600 families have been affected. The organization has started a food distribution program for 187 families. Deputy Chief of Kiramani County, Margaret Kalama, said the situation is getting worse and residents need urgent assistance.
Kwa karibu na Bamba, kilomita kama 12 hivi kuchota maji, kwa sababu hapa Sarani kwetu maji yamekauka.
Maji huwa haiishi, inashikana, lakini sai venye mvua haikunyesha ile kubwa ni kama imefeli. Kwa hivyo tunaomba sai maji tunaifuata umbali wa kilomita 15 kupata maji, na venye tunaona kiangazi ni kama itazidi kuendelea. Kwa hivyo tunaomba hata kama ni kupata zile watabuza ziwe zitatusaidia kwa hilo jambo hilo.
Hapa tunashukuru ni kwa sababu ukame umetufinya sana. Mvua haikunyesha, hakuna maji. Wananchi hapa wanategemea kilimo na hawakuwa na mazao kwa mashamba yao. Na hata kwa wakati huu pia hawataraji kupata chochote kwa mashamba yao. Kwa hivyo tunaomba wahisani popote mlipo, mwe mkikumbuka kuna hii eneo.
Other areas affected by drought are the northeast and Turkana, where leaders have asked the president to declare a national disaster. That's the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea today. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
One of the things that are ailing our country is negative ethnicity. You find you as a state officer, instead of thinking as a Kenyan, you think like a tribal person.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem we have had in this country is a leadership deficit. There is nothing that you are going to do in the process of change if you are not a risk taker. So you really have to pursue your vision to a logical conclusion and even be ready to step on people's toes.
When it comes to the economy, you can run away with it. They say statistics are like bikinis. They reveal a lot, but they conceal the vitals. And so government people would throw statistics at you and tell you they're revealing a lot of information to you, but it's really concealing the real vitals.
We need to get out of that, because when we want to grow our democracy, one basic thing that really requires to be understood by the political class, by all of us, is institutions are critical.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Good morning, and here we are getting into the second hour of Kenya's biggest conversation on this Thursday at 8 minutes after 7 o'clock, and we'll continue with those just a short while. Ndu, Okoh and Dennis Aseto with you today, and you've said that if we have a certain amount of money in our pockets, then we're able to move in a certain direction. No, sir?
Now, imagine less than 20 shillings. We're talking about 19 shillings. You're able to enjoy 1 hour of unlimited data fun bundles from Airtel. You know, and if you have 45 shillings, you have 3 hours of unlimited data for you to be able to enjoy your life. Airtel is telling you that by dialing *544# or going to your My Airtel app that you download on App Store or on Google Play Store, you are able to be part of conversations and not miss out. If you're not yet on Airtel, you can switch. Walk to your nearest Airtel shop, buy yourself a SIM card and be part of these conversations, because at the end of the day, it is Christmas. You want to stream your music, you want to enjoy your movies with your loved ones just from the comfort of your living room. I know I want to do that with Mr. and Mrs. Aseto. Those are my parents, by the way. You know, I want to do that and enjoy that with them. But I want a partner who will be able to take me through that process and be in the room with me by ensuring that my data bundles will not let me down. Airtel is my choice. Is it your choice? Or are you willing to be part of the statistics in terms of missing out.
There's a question. Don't be part of a statistic, but be part of those who are able to tell the story and not miss out with Airtel. All right. So again, we're getting into that season where you're going to be sitting with folks and you're talking about the things that you've been doing. You're talking about the investments that you've been making, and you'll also be looking at the different things that you've been able to do as concerns your investments. And then you might be feeling at some point, actually, you know what, maybe I've not quite done it so well. It's never too late that you can actually start to have a conversation about the future. And you can do it now. And you can do it with our friends at ICEA Lion. They will help you set up those investments for the future. That you can come and say, okay, you know what, I've not started. So you don't have to worry, because you don't have to fail. You can actually start to plan today and get yourself into a place where it looks good in the future. So don't worry about it. It's never too early, neither is it ever too late. There's a plan for everybody, and the question is, what's your plan? Go to icealion.co.ke and somebody will be on the other side of that to help you out.
And even as you talk about having a plan, do you have a plan of having a beautiful Christmas this season? You know, we are talking about being able to walk into a retail store and be able to buy that which you need. That is why Naivas is bringing you the festive fire with giveaways happening every single day. What are we talking about when we talk about giveaways? Now, from winning a legendary Naivas Kikwetu Mbuzi Daily, Naivas is at it again with fresh chicken giveaways every day until Christmas Eve. Yani kuku kila siku until Christmas Eve. What else do you want? So between now and Christmas Day, how many kukus are those that you could be winning? Yeah, take your pick. This is your winning moment, because people are already walking away with cars, motorcycles, and massive electronics in the ongoing Naivas Kikwetu promotion. Sit, relax, and stream, because Naivas is making it possible for you by winning, not buying, by winning. And want it? It's simple. Shop using your Naivas loyalty card. Every purchase gets you closer to winning big. Remember, Naivas is your ultimate one-stop shop for everything. We talk about fresh food, new appliances, and all your Christmas decor. Head down to a new store in Tatu City. We talk about Gashie on our 1 hour mall on Magadi today, and keep that loyalty card handy. Naivas saves you money.
Absolutely. And I'll talk with you now about once in a lifetime chance to win a dream getaway, all thanks to the KCB Bank winning card. Here's how it works. If you bank with KCB and pay your KCB debit, credit, or prepaid card, you get a chance to win every single time you pay. So whether you're buying groceries, whether you're shopping, even at Naivas, fueling your car, grabbing lunch, or shopping online, just pay with your KCB card and get a chance to enter weekly, monthly, and grand prize draws. Weekly winners walk away with 10,000 shillings. Monthly winners walk away with 100,000 shillings. And the grand prize is a holiday getaway to Zanzibar for 2, including flights, accommodation, and exciting excursions. So remember, paying with your KCB card isn't just safe and convenient, it could make you a winner. So the more you pay using your KCB card, the better your chances of winning. So the KCB card is today the winning card. Terms and conditions, of course, apply. We'll tell you all those later. KCB Bank, for people, for better. And we're getting into a conversation this hour where we're going to look at some of these issues that would maybe preclude you from having a good time this Christmas. And one of those is that the clinical officers have said, you know, not again. We're not going to do this again. We're looking at the state of healthcare in the country. And joining us for this conversation is the National Chair of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers. Peterson Bashira is here with us this morning. Peterson, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Very well.
You're well.
Morning, Aseto.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
We're trying to be good.
Trying to be good.
Yeah.
This is a good thing that you try.
Yes.
But I know it's a bit difficult. We were just remembering here that the last time you were in this seat, you left here to go have a meeting, and from that meeting you withdrew the strike notice. But it seems that we're back there again.
Yeah.
We'll get into that conversation so you can tell us what's happening as we look at the year in review and the state of healthcare. Before that, Dennis will share today's proverb with you.
Yeah, the proverb is from the continent, no specific country. Ni wahenga tu wale wa Africa who gave us these proverb, right? Yeah. And this one will speak in terms of, because I know you're a person who sits in different panels, you will tell us how this panel will be and if this proverb makes sense to you today, right? In the panel of wolves, a sheep can never get a fair hearing. How would you interpret it?
That's very true. I think in this one, clinic officers are the sheep. And, the government is the wolf. And that is why it is becoming quite difficult for us to get justice. But actually, I think it speaks to whenever you have people who are interested in something that where they use you to get the same, and you want to liberate yourself, then they cannot allow you. They may pretend to, but they don't. They can't. And that is basically our situation in the health sector. They want to make health workers vulnerable. They want to make us vulnerable so that they can take advantage of us. But otherwise, I think I must really thank you guys because of the free civic lessons and educational content that you usually share here. It is one of the only places where you, while driving in the traffic, you can be learning something in the morning. And it's really commendable. You are fixing this nation. You are changing this nation.
Thank you very much, Peterson. Thank you for always then being part of these conversations with us. It's really great to hear that. Asante sana.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, we're looking at a year in review amid a strike that could come on the 23rd of December.
Yeah.
What has deteriorated to the point where we're back here again?
Thank you, Ndu. And thank you for inviting me again, because I think we owe it to Kenyans that we must explain to them as to why we will not be able to offer these services. And the other thing is that we are of the impression that actually there are people in government who are actually interested in strikes. Because as clinic officers, I think we have demonstrated beyond any doubt that we are not interested in this strike. On 2nd of December, we came out and we gave a 21-day strike notice. While we were doing that, we made it very clear that the reason as to why we are not giving the legally mandated days of 7 days, we are giving triple that, is because we wanted to give enough room so that we can resolve the issues that are in dispute, because the issues are fairly easy to resolve. After 7 days, on 9th, we actually went demonstrating out there to just remind them that we have a dispute you need to address, because we had not been addressed, and also because on 10th, we knew the president and the governors were going to sit under the coordinating summit, and we wanted those issues discussed. But up to today, the ministry has never corresponded, has never communicated. The Council of Governors has never communicated for us to resume the negotiations. The only one meeting that we had was a meeting that was ordered by a judge in our case on career guidelines, where we didn't agree. But the good thing is that yesterday the judgment came out, and actually the judge supported our view that you cannot leave each and every county to do their own career guidelines, because then the terms will be very varied, and that is against the principles of SRC and fair treatment and discrimination. And so it actually declared that the Public Service Commission was right to have done the career guidelines, and that the county public service boards should actually adopt it and use it. So that is one of the matter that has been resolved, but then implementation is a different issue. So why did we issue the strike notice? And you know, there is a bit of history to this. And if you can allow me just 3 minutes. In 2017, you remember the strike then by all cadres?
Yes.
The first longest strike of health workers that went for more than 100 days. Then we entered into an MOU, because by then we had not registered our union and among the other health professions. The deliverables of that MOU, other than the money that we got, was that we were to do a review of the career guidelines, and that we were also to negotiate and conclude a CBA in 2017. Yeah. So in 2019, the process started, the scheme of service. We have continued with that. It has been a subject of strikes until the Senate, sitting together with the Senate Health Committee and the National Assembly Health Committee, called us to order when we were on strike, that is in 2024, and ordered the Public Service Commission to issue it within 2 weeks. And we thank the Public Service Commission because it did. By then, the Council of Governors did not have an issue with career guidelines. In fact, if you go to Hansard, the Council of Governors came to Parliament and said that that is not our role. That is the role of Public Service Commission. Mm-hmm. Then when it has been issued, they're supposed to implement. Then they're like, no. But why are you doing a career guideline for us? We can do it for ourselves. But we thank God the judge has been able to to determine that. On the issue of the CBA, from 2021, you remember in 2021 we went on a strike during COVID?
Yes.
We came back and we had a return to work agreement with CS Kagwe. That was New Year's Eve, actually the first day of January, which had given us something. And then the Council of Governors declined to sign then. Then that protracted push and pull continued, and we were taken to court because of the strike. Then we also had a counterclaim in court. And in 2023, because the judge ordered us back to work, and we went back to work. But then we went back to the judge and asked, we went on strike because we had issues. He ordered us back to work. We agreed. But the other side is not doing anything. So on August of 2023, the judge ordered that we sit and conclude the CBA by December of 2023. That did not happen. The employers never responded. In 2024, we went for the longest strike by clinic officers in this country since 1928, when we started this course, which then also ended with a return to work agreement that was midwifed by the same court and later registered and came out as court order or orders of the court. The agreement we had with the Council of Governors and the Ministry of Health. One of the agreements we had was that the CBA was to be done within 60 days of 8th of July. And we had said by 1st of October. So we met and negotiated a bit. And by 1st of October, we were not done. And we said, okay, we can allow up to December. So up to December, we had probably only 1 or 2 issues remaining. And so we were waiting for SRC and Treasury on the approvals on monetary issues. But since December up to now, we have been doing correspondences to the Council of Governors so that we can resume that process. They have never been answered. With the ministry, we continued with that discussion. And around August, we were done. SRC approved, Treasury approved. From September, the CBA has been printed awaiting signature. It is in the desk of the CS. Since September, he has not found a day to append his signature on our CBA.
And he had agreed that he was going to, assent to this, essentially. There was an agreement. All we needed was a signature.
The negotiation was led by the PS in charge of professional standards because it's her job, with a team that was appointed all over from the Public Service, Ministry of Public Service, Public Service Commission, the Ministry, the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council, appointed legally. And it was concluded and there were no controversies. All the approvals were there. And even today, if you ask them, they tell you nobody has a problem. Because the CS was in one of the media stations the other week after our demonstrations. And he said that he has no problem, but that he has not seen it, which I know is not true because I know he had. So that is what we don't understand. And that is why we are saying we are under the impression that probably there are some people who want us to go on strike for whatever reason. On the side of Council of Governors, we had certain agreed on some figures that were to be taken to SRC. Then later we find out they took different figures and without our knowledge, and even whatever they had taken was not approved, and and that would bring disharmony between the national and the county governments. And so then our trust was broken at that point. But even now, they have not been able to progress. They have not called us back to the table. We are only 4 days away from the strike. And so this looks like an inevitable strike. And the good thing is that we have indicated, we have proven to Kenyans that we have an employer who is tone deaf. Unless you shout and knock on their ears, they cannot hear you.
I mean, Peterson, when you talk about what you're experiencing right now, we were talking about it earlier with Ndu. To our Kenyan out there, a clinical officer is the doctor, because these are the people they engage with on a daily basis. Kenyans, it's really difficult for one to differentiate between a clinical officer or a doctor, And you look at the impact that clinical officers bring to our hospitals, and one would say these are the individuals who run these hospitals. These are the MVPs of hospitals and healthcare in the country. Now, here we're talking about a CBA that has been agreed upon by all parties. All that remains, because you've sat, you've negotiated, you've agreed on the text, all that remains is to implement it, and by appending a signature.
It is actually printed in the ceremonial papers of the ministry.
Yes. Today, you're telling Kenyans that clinical officers will down their tools, that Kenyans will not be able to access healthcare, to get services from hospitals, because a document has been negotiated by all parties, agreed upon, drafted in a ceremonial paper. All that remains is a signature. And that Kenyans will not get services. Is there political goodwill, or let me say ministerial goodwill, to just ensure that healthcare works?
No, I don't think there is goodwill, because we demonstrated on 9, went to the ministry, the CS was there just to ensure that he gets the communication. Then on the same day he appeared on a media station, and what he really said was very condescending, because first he said that we were too few. Secondly, he said some of them did not even look like health workers or clinic officers. And on our issue, he was a bit dismissive, that he has never seen it. And once he looks at it, he will also decide whether to sign or not. So I don't know where that leaves us.
He will decide whether he will sign or not. It's not a question of, I will sign.
I'm just quoting what he says.
Wow.
It is something that people can refer to. And that is why Kenyans must really ask themselves questions in terms of governance and what is happening. But the problem is really the goodwill, the political goodwill, and the ministerial goodwill, as you have said, because nobody can explain. Because I remember he was even asked, is there a problem? He said, no, but I have not seen it. The problem was that he had not seen it last week, on 9th. Today we are on date 18th. No communication for us to be able to go and sign.
Maybe I'm the one who's ignorant, but I'm assuming as the cabinet secretary who's heading the ministry and the buck stops with him at the ministry, that from his office, and now that you negotiated with the PS, who's pretty much like the implementing officer at the ministry, that the CS, having known that you are there demonstrating and even saying that he has not seen it, it is easy for him to pick up his phone and call the CS, or even use an extension, or walk to the PS's office and demand for that document. Maybe I'm just being too ignorant. I don't know how government bureaucracy works.
I can tell you, I'm very sure, and I know that the CS has been briefed, and he has looked at that document. He doesn't need to get it from anywhere else. There is nothing he doesn't know that is in that document, and I know that for sure, because we have even met him before. And on the other side of the Council of Governors, that one issue that was pending, it is an issue that would have been resolved actually within the 21 days. And that is why we deliberately gave 21 days, because for sure, we really didn't want to go on a strike on an issue that we really believe we don't need to. You go on strike for issues that you really need to push very hard. But now I don't know. But we don't have another option. Clinic officers have bestowed a lot of trust upon us for us to be able to fight for them, and especially for their dignity, because our dignity is actually being stripped now. And when that happens, as their chairman, my singular task is to defend that and my allegiance is only to my members and my profession, irrespective of who is the aggressor. Now I have to face the aggressor, lead my army, and we ensure that our dignity is restored. But we are continuously telling them that we still have 4 days, and within the 4 days, if they have the goodwill, if we can be able to sign, because we have we have informed them of our bare minimums, because the CBA is one. We have said the career guideline guides promotions, and the promotions in the return to work agreement registered in court. We had a timeline. By 1st of September 2024, all clinic officers should have been promoted. We have the issue of implementation of SRC salary review, the third cycle. You know, usually they tell us, SRC, their circulars are not mere advisories, they are binding when it is on our side. When SRC has given a circular for them to implement, now the counties, it is no longer binding. It is now an advisory. So it is whatever is convenient to them.
Right.
The other thing is, other than the CBA, the career guidelines, and that cycle of salary increment, we have the issue of Global Fund. And sometimes there are stories you listen to, and you wonder how people sleep at night. The Global Fund story is a very sad one. These are clinic officers and laboratory workers who were employed around 2009 before devolution. They were employed by the Global Fund on a TB program because TB had become a real challenge because of HIV and the opportunistic infection that was really killing people with HIV.
Yeah.
So they devised a program to check on the TB and employed around 120-something health workers. When they were doing that, they had a prior agreement with Treasury and the Ministry of Health that when we are exiting, you will have allocated money so that you can convert these people into government employment and a permanent and pensionable basis so that they continue. The agreement is there. So around 2022, when they were exiting, the ministry wrote to them. They're saying, we are not ready. Please extend 1 year, which they granted, extended to 2023. Then in 2023, I think around January, the ministry was not still ready.
Yeah.
And went to the Public Service Commission, and the Public Service Commission granted them what their request, that is to give them a 6-month contract as they prepare a framework to transition them into permanent and pensionable. That happened. But then when it came to transitioning them, the Ministry of Health only took the 25 who are in the national government facilities. Those who found themselves under county government, then there was a direction that the counties should absorb them. But these are people who were employed before devolution. They have never been devolved. Their contracts are with the Ministry of Health, signed by the HR Ministry of Health. But now they are saying, hey, come on, you are working under counties. They are the ones to absorb you. So basically, they were thrown under the bus. A good number of them, there are people with children even in high school. They are fairly, some of them are older than me. There are some even in university. Some of them are ailing. They do not have access to SHA. They have been working for 17 months without pay. And yesterday I was in Nakuru, and actually they confirmed, the health administration confirmed that these people have actually been going to work for 17 months without being paid.
Okay.
Yes.
What alternate universe that we operate in when things like that actually happen? And it's not it's not because of lack of resources. It's because just somebody is not doing what they need to do in terms of getting these things done. Now, maybe we can understand this from a broader perspective, because again, we had this conversation earlier on. If we understand, and then it helps us to then be part of this conversation greater, that a clinical officer is not somebody that you can do away with in the health ecosystem, is doing a functional, fundamental job. what is that? That when you walk into a health facility level 2, 3, the likelihood that the person who is going to look at your labs, who is going to diagnose, who is going to recommend and prescribe treatment is a clinical officer.
Yeah.
What is the role of a clinical officer for us to understand that it is not hundreds of thousands of people who are just blowing hot air?
Thank you. Let me start from a global perspective, because people may think that clinical officers are unique to Kenya. We have the cadre of clinical officers, the primary clinicians, across the globe. We actually used to think that we are only found in Africa and in sub-Saharan Africa. But we realized we are actually everywhere in the world. We are physician associates in US and in UK. And gladly, the UK has now accepted clinical officers from Kenya. We can actually register while here, do an exam and register as physician associates and move there. We have quite a number who have already transitioned. Okay. We are called medical assistants in Asia. We are physician assistants in Australia. Even Israel has our cadre, and Germany started just the other day. But you know, one interesting thing, most of those countries actually started it after recommendation from WHO, basing on the successes in the East Africa and especially Kenya. When US was starting their physician associate, they sat in our clinical officers council under the ministry looking at our curriculum and what we do. And that is what they based on. But what do we do? So we are primary clinicians. From level 2 all the way to level 6. The people who are going to see you first are clinical officers. Right. Either general or at the advanced levels, usually level 6. Because even at level 5, the person who sees you in the outpatient is still a clinical officer, a general practitioner. At the level 6, mostly you find a combination, the general and the specialized, because the people who are going there, they expect you expect that their disease has progressed. We have over 21 specialties, including like anesthesia. When you go to theater, the anesthesia that is administered there, around 98%. Is by clinical officers. The doctors and the nurses only account for around 2%. When you go to oncology, we are the majority right now in terms of clinicians. The doctor started the masters the other day. ENT we also dominate in most of these, including reproductive health and. In Ethiopia, I think a very good case scenario that I can give on the importance of clinical officers is the case of Ethiopia. And this is something that you can Google. It's actually available. Do you know Ethiopia was able to bring the maternal mortality rate down by 72%? Right now, I think the maternal mortality rate is about 170. Around there. Ours is 379 or 59, something like that. Almost 3 times or 2 times. And how they were able to do this is that there is a University of Defense in Ethiopia. They came up with a program that was able to capacitate clinical officers to be able to do cesarean sections, among other surgeries. It's an integrated course, and we have gone there. We have actually
seen it. Okay.
And that is how they were able to deploy them to facilities, including in the rural areas. And they drastically brought down their maternal mortality through something that we call task sharing and task shifting. And that is what in Kenya has become a problem because, in Kenya we like protecting our turfs. We want this to remain ours irrespective of how many people are going to die out there because we don't want somebody else to do it. And that is not good because we are not looking at the patient's interest. But basically that is what clinical officers are. We are all the levels. Like in MTRH, we have over 200, that is my teaching and referral, we have over 250 clinical officers working there. It is one of the best level 6 hospitals. Right now we have up to master's and PhD level. And our scope of what we can be able to do has really grown over the years. And now we can even be able to do advanced surgeries that we would not be able to do in the past. This is not unique to Kenya.
Okay.
If you go to countries like Malawi, most of the surgeries are done by clinic officers. That is something you can be able to find out. If you go to Southern Sudan, if you go to Tanzania, you'll find the medical assistants are still clinic officers. They're the ones doing cesarean section, among other surgeries. If you go to Zimbabwe, advanced nurses do cesarean section. And sometimes you find people here saying that, a clinic officer, even with a degree, should not do a cesarean section. In Zimbabwe, a nurse is doing the same with an advanced course. So, and one of the things that the ministry should be doing is to be in a very objective way, to be able to audit what the cadres in the ministry and the ministry can do as part of implementing the universal health coverage.
Yeah.
And then look at the services to be offered, benchmark with other countries, especially surrounding us, and ensure that we can do the task sharing and the task shifting. And that was the ideology behind the task sharing by WHO, that we do not have enough doctors, we do not have enough clinic officers, we do not have enough pharmacists. What is that they have been doing that they can share with a cadre that we can train for a shorter period and we can have better numbers so that we offload and we can be able to reach many people. But then it came here and it became politicized. You can see what Ethiopia is doing with it, and they are going to achieve universal health coverage before us.
So you see, here we are having dreams, and it's good for us to dream on where the aspirations we have as a country.
Yeah.
The process on how to get there then becomes very, very critical. And here we talk about a situation where clinical workers have raised issues before. They have been discussed, they have agreed on how this needs to be handled. The courts have pronounced themselves on what must be done. The ministry knows what needs to be done. The government is aware of where the matters is, because every day we are told universal health coverage is a right for each and every single Kenyan. But Peterson, as we talk about universal health coverage, are we able to achieve that if at all the most important aspect of healthcare in the country is left without their issues being addressed? Because we have to look at things into context. How are we preaching in rallies, in State of the Nation addresses about universal health coverage, when the critical aspect, the motor of the health sector in the country is not being addressed? Is it a story, or it's just a political gimmick?
In this country, there is a very bad tradition that we only look at the output, but on the side of the input, we don't concentrate very much. It's like we don't understand that garbage in, garbage out. I don't know if that is the right way to put it. Look at the teachers. Look at the teachers. Look at how they are treated. We are talking about how our education system is, what kind of results we are getting at the end. How do we treat them? How much are we paying the JSS that we are employing, the so-called interns? I think we are paying them 15,000 or something. Look at the policemen. We talk a lot about security, how security is not doing very well. But how do we compensate them? What I'm trying to say, that there is a problem of managing human resources and prioritizing human resources in this country. It's not only the health workers, but the health workers also are affected, and clinic officers are affected by the same, that we want to talk about results. We want to boast about results. We want to say what we want to see. But we also don't seem to prioritize the fact that, for you to get process, we are like in a change process. We are changing our health system so that we can get to Singapore.
Yes.
In terms of health, I think that is now the
benchmark.
Yeah. And so, when you are in any change process, there are three P's. There is people, there is process, and there is progress. You must first capacitate the people sensitize them so that they understand the mission and the vision. And then once the people understand, they will take care of the process.
Right.
Because they are the ones to drive the process. And in health sector, the health human resource are the central pillar through which all the other elements of health rotate around. So if you don't take care of the people who are the human resource, then the process is suboptimal.
Right.
And therefore you cannot get the progress that you want because you didn't take care of the people and the progress. And that is what is happening with us. If you look at human resource, we are at 30 health workers per 100,000 instead of 45. That is per 10,000 instead of 45. We have a deficit of 70,000 health workers in this country just to have the bare minimum. I'm not talking about Singapore. I'm still talking about Kenya. For us to be where we can say that we can comfortably be able to offer health in an affordable way and ensure every Kenyan, wherever they are, whether in Kacheliba or wherever else, they can access this health care. We need an additional 70,000 health workers. Then the next question is, do we have a deliberate strategy or plan on how we are going to recruit these health workers so that we can meet that? It's not there. There is nowhere where it has been documented by the government that every year we are setting aside this budget to employ health workers so that we can be able to get to where we want in the universal health care by this year. But if you look at the equipment, if you look at the side of how we want to get more money to do that, there is a deliberate plan. But on the side of the human resource, you don't see that. Then when it comes to our welfare, you can see, because when you talk about primary health care as the basis on which we are going to run our universal health coverage, that is very well documented under the bottom-up economic plan. Whether you are talking about better or netter, now it's the new. I think it's the new economic transformation agenda. When you look at it, they are going to base it on the primary health care. We are the custodians of primary health care as the primary clinicians. So if you cannot be able to take care of our welfare, if you cannot be able to ensure that clinic officers are well motivated, if you cannot be able to employ enough, part of our agreement, by the way, is that was that they were going to recruit more clinic officers so that we bridge the gaps and so that our patients do not have to have the long waiting hours. And this was actually based on the fact that we are telling people that you cannot go to a level 4. You have to start from level 2, go to level 3. So we are telling Kenyans, 100% of you must start from level 2 and level 3. Which clinicians are going to see them? It's the clinic officers. So you're bringing a surge to the primary health care, because now whoever would have gone to level 4 and level 5 and level 6 as the primary facility to be seen cannot go there. They have to come to the primary health care. But then you are not recruiting the clinicians who should see them. So what is the consequence? What is the impact on Kenyans? You have prolonged lines. People will come there and queue from morning to evening. By the time they are seeing this clinician, is already fatigued, mentally clouded. I give you a wrong diagnosis, and then it becomes another story. You get complications. At the end of it, we are actually making health very expensive instead of reducing the burden, because the earlier you treat, you avoid complication, the cheaper it is, and then the less costs, the less amount of money you use for health.
But this is a conversation that has been had time and time again. It is almost impossible to imagine that anybody who sits at the helm of a ministry that then runs the operations of the healthcare system doesn't know this. They do know this. So it's not a problem of lack of understanding. What would you say the issue is? Because if we don't see what the problem is, then we're not going to be able to solve it. What's the actual problem? Is it lack of resources? Is it lack of prioritizing? Is it not understanding that this is a very essential cog in this whole ecosystem? What's the problem so that we can maybe finally, attack it and then deal with it?
The biggest problem we have here is politics, priority. When it comes to priority, then that goes with the resources, that we do not prioritize funds where they should be. A very good example, let's look at the primary healthcare and the secondary healthcare and the tertiary healthcare. If you look at our documents, we want to use primary healthcare first to prevent the disease from happening. That is why we have community health workers, the CHPs. Though the CHPs cannot entirely prevent the disease from happening, you have to have people with the knowledge, the public health officers, the nutritionist, the clinic officer on the ground. Then, if the primary health care is what you want to use to ensure that you bring the cost of health down, actually in the better plan, the exact phrase is, for every shilling you use in the primary health care, you save 9 in the secondary and tertiary. 9 shillings.
9 shillings.
That is how much you can be able to, 9-fold. Actually, it's you can bring it down by 90%. That is what they mean. But then, you know, when it comes to priority, you follow the money. If you want to know where the priority is, follow the money. So we have a primary health care fund, where every Kenyan 100% are supposed to start from.
Yeah.
How much money do we have? We had 13.1 billion. I know in the supplementary budget they are going to add another 10, so that will be 23.1 billion.
Yeah.
When it comes to what we are to the money we are contributing now, the secondary, the SHIF, the Social Health Insurance Fund, around 133 billion and above, whatever we are contributing. That is secondary care. And of course, then that goes out to tertiary, but in the tertiary, you have the other one of emergency, chronic care fund, where we have, I can't remember the amount of money, but I think 4 to 6 billion, thereabout. So, a lot of resources we have put in the secondary care from level 4 and above, but yet only about 15% of Kenyans reach there. Because when you look at the people who come to health facilities, about 85% of them are treated in the outpatient and they go back home. Only around 10 to 14, 15% get admitted, and those are the people or require specialized care. Those are the people who get to level 4. So where 100% of Kenyans are, we're having 23.1 billion, including prevention. Primary prevention. Primary prevention is preventing somebody from falling sick. Secondary prevention is preventing that disease from progressing from where it is. Then, now secondary care, where we have 10 to 14%, we have 133 billion or more. Where is our priority? Is our priority in the primary healthcare or in the secondary? If you follow the money.
If you follow the money,
it is in the
it's
secondary.
in the secondary, absolutely.
Yes. And that is why I'm saying, so if you look at it, then you ask yourself, how comes whatever the documents are talking about, and however we have structured our share, is completely different? That is the question I may not be able to answer. Probably we may find out together. But then, and that is why you realize, if you ask many Kenyans going to level 2 and level 3, they might tell you that SHA is not working.
Yeah.
And this is because the amount of money that you have is kidogo against the claims that will come from the huge numbers of patients going there.
Okay.
And social cannot be able to reimburse. That is why you'll be told this case, hapa hawakuweka koma, those kind of things to delay, because they don't have enough money.
Okay.
But you will rarely hear a Kenyan who has gone to level 4 and above saying SHA is not working. Because anything level 4 and above, there is money.
There's money.
And
it's down here where there isn't.
The problem is down here because it is not being funded enough.
The PS was here, of course, with this health deal with the United States. One of the things he said was that all of these issues will be sorted. Do you see this being sorted under this new health deal? If some of that money that comes into the 244 billion shillings, some of these things will be sorted out, you think?
The deal, and let me say that the deal is welcome and it's a good thing, because really my members had lost hope as well as patients. But the funds, this deal is for some specific programs: HIV, TB, malaria, vaccinations, and maternal mortality. So on that, of course, it's going to support. It's also going to support many health workers who had already lost their jobs after the stop work order by the US. And also for the patients who are becoming hopeless. They didn't know whether they are going to continue getting a seamless supply of the drugs they were having for TB, HIV, and other things. And also the vaccinations. You remember we had an outbreak of measles, chickenpox, I think, and typhoid. And we had to vaccinate.
Yes. There was a vaccination drive that happened in October, yes.
Yes. Some of these things, with our resources that we have, sometimes it's difficult for us. But I'm happy that now there is a plan. That plan also says that by 2031, Kenya will have grown enough to be able to cater for all its health needs, including the vaccines and the other programs. And that is how it should actually be.
Yeah. Peterson, as we talk about clinical health workers, clinical officers, pretty much, there's a question that has been asked by one Edwin here. And his question is simple. Maybe you could respond to that. Why do we need clinical officers when we have thousands of unemployed doctors? I thought we were phasing them out. Why do KMTC still offer clinical medicine?
Well, I think part of the answer I'll give him is, why is it after hundreds and hundreds of years, the developed world, US, Australia, and UK, have found it necessary to have a level of clinical officers in terms of physician associates? Let us not confuse things.
Yes.
We have many doctors who are unemployed, but we have a huge shortage of doctors even with them. We don't train enough. The problem is that the government is not employing them to see Kenyans. And their problem is not clinical officers. Clinical officers are not a substitute to doctors. They are not being employed, and then they don't employ doctors. So we have a shortage of doctors. We have a shortage of clinical officers. And that is why I said, your parable.
Yeah.
Was it a parable? No.
Proverb.
A proverb, sorry. That a sheep will never get justice in a panel of wool.
Yes.
And that is why I was saying that it is a deliberate decision by the government that we only employ a few. We have many outside there so that they are desperate, and now we can be able to offer them some very discriminative terms. That is why you see now they have some funny terms. They call UHC terms, where you find they are paying a figure of 40,000 and 50,000 against whatever is recommended by SRC, which is more than double. So that was done deliberately to make them frustrated and desperate, so that then they can use them.
So how then, because now here's a question of why do we need clinical officers? So let's let us address it so that Kenyans understand, how do clinical officers complement doctors and nurses in our hospitals or in the healthcare system?
Very good. When we are seeing a patient, there are many professions that come into play. So when you come to a hospital, you are going to find a nurse. She or he is going to triage you. Once they triage you, they see how fast you should be seen, or if you can queue, or there is something they need to do before you come to us. Then they'll present them to a clinic officer. A clinic officer is going to see that patient and decide, does this person require to be admitted, or I can treat and they can go back home? Do I send them to the lab? Then when they treat them and go back home, that is where it ends. If then they have to be admitted, that is where they meet the medical officer. Their role is at the secondary care. We are primary clinicians. They are secondary clinicians. Do they require a surgery? What type of a surgery? Is it a minor? Or is it a minimally invasive? Then a clinical officer can do. Is it an invasive surgery? Is it complicated surgery? That goes to the medical officer, it goes to the consultant. So it is very well and clearly defined that we have that protocol. Patient will start with a nurse, will come to a clinical officer. Clinical officer, the moment it is beyond them, then it goes to a doctor. That is clearly defined across the globe. And whatever he's asking is a conversation that is very live in the UK, and I think even the courts have determined about it. And we cannot underscore the need for clinical officers, because for almost 100 years, in 2028 will be 100 years old.
Yeah.
And we have really carried the burden of healthcare on our shoulders. But we are not we are not actually appreciated enough. We have never had a director in the Ministry of Health for almost 100 years. Yes.
All right. I mean, because of time, we're winding down on this, but 23rd is the date that's been given as a strike, where the strike then comes into play.
Yeah.
What would change that? And in the event of that, then what ends the strike?
For us, we have given our bare minimums. One, they must sign the CBA. We must have a signed CBA deposited in court. That is the procedure. Number two, the implementation of the third cycle of SRC salary increment. Number three, the promotion. And number four, there must be a clear framework on how to address the issue of Global Fund and the UHC and the COVID-19 to give them PNP status. If that does not happen, and I want to address clinical officers, after the midnight of Monday, the 22nd, all clinical officers are going to put their tools down, and then we will wait for government to put themselves in order. We will wait for the CS to get a day when he can get a pen and sign.
Yeah.
And then once that happens, we will be able to come back. But as clinical officers, we are not interested in the strike. Our most comfortable place is sitting with our patients and alleviating their suffering. But there is a strike that has been necessitated by the government. It is the government that wants us to go on strike, and we will give them that. To Patana, what a Christmas. Otherwise, I wish Kenyans a Merry Christmas.
It looks like it's going to be an interesting one. But, you know, to make these matters bare and to lay them bare is very important. Let's see, because the strike notice have been given. Let's see if we can finally get out of this cycle of having to do cat and mouse with certain things that should be done.
And this time we are not going back with any return to work agreement.
All right.
We already have 2 court orders.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Peterson Oshira is the national chair of the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, has been here with us this morning. Thank you, as usual, for doing that.
Thank you.
We look forward to the next. Good morning. It's 2 minutes past 8.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the News Wire. I'm Leah Ubaga. Supreme Court Judge Ibrahim Mohammed, who passed away yesterday following a short illness, is likely to be laid to rest today, according to the Muslim culture. According to reports, the judge, who was due to proceed on terminal leave ahead of his mandatory retirement on January 1st, 2026, died on Wednesday afternoon, just after 4:30 p.m. He had a distinguished 23-year judicial career marked by institutional reform, jurisprudential leadership, and a legacy of advancing access to justice. He leaves behind a wife and 4 children. Chief Justice Martha Koome confirmed the death of the judge, describing Justice Ibrahim as a steadfast guardian of constitutionalism, electoral justice, and human dignity. She recalled his journey in the corridors of justice before joining the bench, saying Justice Ibrahim had already distinguished himself as a trailblazing advocate, human rights defender, and public-spirited lawyer. At least 7 Kenyans have been arrested by South African authorities. Spokesperson to the Minister of the Department of the Home Affairs, Kali Van, said following an operation, 7 Kenyan nationals were discovered engaging in work despite only being in possession of tourist visas, in clear violation of their conditions of entry into the country. The operation followed after intelligence reports indicated that a number of Kenyan nationals had recently entered South Africa on tourist visas and had illegally taken up work at a center processing the applications of so-called refugees to the United States. Van says they were arrested and issued with deportation orders and will be prohibited from entering South Africa again for a 5-year period. And finally, the national government has spent almost 5 billion shillings on travel in the first 3 months of the 2025-2026 financial year, despite ongoing efforts to rein in public spending and prioritize funds for development projects. According to a report by the Controller of Budget, domestic travel accounted for 4.09 billion shillings, while foreign travel consumed 877.21 million Kenya shillings. The spending forms part of the broader use of goods and services category, which also covers items such as printing and advertising, rent for non-residential buildings, training, hospitality, legal fees, insurance, and maintenance of government assets. That's the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
Presidency is fairly interesting in the sense that it will actually take us to a new consciousness.
Swali zile watu waulizi na swali muuliza na shangala ni aje kwani huku kunaendaje?
30 billion shillings annually on travel alone in public service.
A Kenyan can even demonstrate every single day of his life that Ruto must go. That is the only message of his demonstration. That is his right.
That bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of those who are in the right.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The following takes place from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. every weekday on Spice FM.
You have land, Dennis. Yeah. Okay, your own land. You use your own money to build it, and then you sell it to yourself.
But we don't want foreign troops on Kenyan soil.
But surely it goes a little bit deeper. This is it.
If you find the tree is withering, then you call the person who is managing that tree. Come around.
Yeah,
Why? Tell me what is
first of all, what's the problem?
Yes, what is the problem there?
How do we expect ourselves to move forward as a country?
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Okay, coming in at 8 minutes after 8 this morning and getting into the third hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this Thursday. And as we continue with our conversations this morning, we're bringing you in on this one and how you are involved directly in governance and leadership. But there's a little bit of money in your pocket. Let's see what you can do with it.
A little bit of money in your pocket. So let's talk about this festive season. You need extra cash for you to be able to enjoy yourself, for you to have merry with your family and friends. But now here's a question where with each and every single shilling that you have, you're able to purchase data. And I'm talking about 19 shillings for 1 hour unlimited data. We're talking about 45 shillings for 3 hours unlimited data. And you can access this by dialing *544# or go to Your My Airtel app that you can download on App Store or Google Play Store, as well as get yourself an Airtel SIM card that you can purchase from any Airtel shop and be able to access these data bundles. But when we talk about these data bundles, it is a question of being in the room, being there, being present, and following up through moments that mean the most to you. Most of us have missed on important moments in our lives because data let us down. You know, you are in an interview, you're going through the process, and all of a sudden internet goes off. What does that mean? That HR officer on the other end will not wait for you. An opportunity is lost like that. So what is your former moment? What is this situation that has happened in your life? You've lost a great opportunities and moments in your life that you just wish you had a data bundle, a provider that would be able to carry you through. Talk to us on our social media platforms. Christine will be getting in touch with you, and you stand a chance of winning 3,000 Kenya shillings airtime courtesy of Airtel. Again, *544# or go to your My Airtel app, or simply buy an Airtel SIM card from your nearest Airtel shop.
Absolutely. And in this world where there's changing technology, you don't have to worry about sitting in a line to go figure out how to make certain payments. ICA Line is getting you involved with their digital tools, which will ensure that this path towards investment and planning for the future is made just a little bit easier. Digital tools like the WhatsApp chatbot, Leo, you can have a conversation and they will let you know, okay, well, this is how you can do. There is even an aggregated tool whereby you can say at the end of a certain period of time, this is what I want to do. And that will then allow them say, okay, well, in this period, this is how much money you can put aside, and this is what you can do. You want to put a house up, you want to travel the world, you want to further your education in a different part from where you are. All of this can be made possible with the technology that is offered by ICEA Lion.
Yes.
So think about your future, what you want to do, how you want to go about it, and they'll be able to help you. What's your plan? What's your plan is the question you ask, and somebody on the other side of icealion.co.ke will help you answer that.
You see, when you talk about having a plan, but currently everyone is having plans for the next few weeks. You know, it is all about Christmas, it is a New Year's, it is back to school. And we have a partner here who is here to ensure that you get to have that plan and sorted out. We're talking about Naivas, who are asking you to beat the traffic and head straight to Naivas because they are making this December the most rewarding month. When you talk about rewarding, you're talking about daily legendary Kikwetu Mbuzi giveaways right now, and fresh chicken on the house every day until 24th of December. Again, Naivas isn't just about winning, it is about convenience and variety. Need a fresh cut from butchery, talking about ingredients from the pantry, or maybe that new TV set at this Christmas. I know Aseto needs a new television set, and this is an opportunity for me to walk inside Naivas and crop him a piece. Naivas has the widest selection of the fresh foods. We talk about household goods, electronic and festive gifts, reinforcing their sport at the true one-stop Christmas destination. Don't forget to use your Naivas loyalty card, because this is where you have an opportunity of winning, because every time you shop, you stand a chance to win cars. There are those who are winning cars, there are those who are winning motorcycles and appliances. Shop Naivas daily and experience the true Kenyan Christmas spirit. Drive time, check. Have you walked into these Naivas stores? Walk in today, make this purchase, and you stand a chance of winning, because Naivas does not only give you the freshest goods that you need, it is saving you money.
Absolutely. And this is also a time where we promise you that when you spend, you can actually win. When was the last time your everyday payment actually paid you back? Like you made a payment today and you got something back. Doesn't happen all the time, does it? Well, with the KCB winning card, every pay takes you closer to a major win. Here's all you have to do. Use your KCB debit, credit or prepaid card whenever you pay for shopping, fueling your car, grabbing lunch, or shopping online. You get a chance to win weekly, monthly, and you also get a chance for a stab at a grand prize. Weekly winners walk away with 10,000 shillings. Monthly winners walk away with 100,000 shillings. And the grand prize is a holiday getaway to Zanzibar for two, complete with flights, accommodation, and these great excursions. So don't just shop. Shop smart and win big. The more you pay with your KCB card, the higher your chances of winning. Use your KCB card today, the winning card. Remember that terms and conditions apply. But KCB, for people, for better. Did you go to Sarit? No, we said you're going to go today.
We're going today, yeah.
Okay, we're going to Sarit today.
Today is Maasai Market, right?
Because today is Maasai Market at the Sarit Center every Wednesday and Thursday at Sarit, and getting into Christmas cheer kabisa. So we've decided that Mr. and Mrs. Santa is our one-stop shop because we have a long list of requests for Santa this year, and we're going to tell them how we've been nice and not naughty, and the elves perhaps will help us make that request, while Rudolph then will cart us around Sarit Center while we do shopping at the Maasai Market. You see, all of this comes together.
Yes.
And we can listen to all of those wonderful Christmas carols that play during the choral presentations. You can win instantly with Sarit as you do your shopping around the center. And not to forget that even while you do that, you can make all of this happen with your Sarit loyalty app. Download it today, get in shopping, get into the Christmas mood, and let's have all of that happening at Sarit.
You know, the good thing about Sarit is once you just walk in from the basement all the way to the floors that you have, every corner always has a surprise. Every corner.
That's true. It's true. And just to have a look at the wonderful, arrangements, all the Christmas decorations that are happening there at the mall, really something to get into. At the very least, go and lift your spirits with all the wonderful cheer happening at Sarit this Christmas.
Of my mouth, man, the Christmas spirit.
Sindero.
Exactly.
There we go. And let's do it with Sarit this year. While you were away, or if you were away, it seems as though people have been going a place, and it's not just been within. The COB has released a report, and we've been looking at the details of her report. And remember, it's not just her, but it's an office of people who are working around the clock to put all of these numbers together. The COB is the controller of budget. They're the ones who essentially control many aspects coming from the consolidated fund, money that is spent. Basically, the COB says, okay, fine, according to budget, go ahead and spend. That's why she is the controller of budget. It's in budget, spend. We refuse that you should spend because it was not 1, 2, 3. Don't spend. Now, once you have spent, she says, okay, we see how you have spent, and she puts together this report, which is now what we are looking into today. Now, counties have splashed 1.5 billion shillings on travel in 3 months, according to this report. And here we see Kitui Governor Julius Malombe with the County Assembly Speaker Kelvin Kinengo and members of the County Assembly during the State of the County address. Kitui has spent 106 million shillings on travel since July, August, September, October, November. We're still in half December. So 106 million shillings has been said. Walienda wapi? That's the question. But also, I don't know that the report goes further to interrogate some of the things that they're spending this money on, rather, some of the trips that they're spending this money on and why. 37 counties, and not just even all 47, spent over 1.5 billion shillings on domestic and foreign travel in the first quarter of the 2025-2026 financial year. The expenditure occurred within 3 months from July, when the financial year began, and could have been higher if 10 additional counties had submitted their travel returns as requested by the Controller of Budget. That has not happened. Nairobi, Narok, Nyandarua, Kilifi, Siaya, Garissa, Baringo, Wajir, Turkana, and Trans Nzoia counties did not submit their travel expenditures for reasons not explained to the county government's budget implementation review report. So we traveled, but to Jakwambia, why or where? Kitui County emerged as the highest spender. Now, Kitui County is the county where Mashujaa Day was celebrated in October. It is the county where President William Ruto said, we can see that there has been no development here, even if you've had members of parliament who are now making noise in the opposition.
Even the former deputy president.
He has been from here, but we have not seen things happen. And talked about the underdevelopment in Lower Eastern Ukambani. And said that we're going to fix this. We're going to have water in the taps. We're going to have, this not be one of the counties that deals with famine, etc., etc. Kitui has now spent 106 million shillings traveling. To where? We don't know. You would imagine that where they went would come to sort out some of these problems that the president decried during Mashujaa Day. The county did not report any expenditure on foreign travel. So to make this just a little bit more interesting, this money that they spent to the tune of 38.57 million by the county assembly was only in Kenya, because foreign travel means you cross the Kenyan border. Right. Domestic travel means you remain within the geography of the country. Kajiado followed, spending... Oh, I'm very sorry, I lied. Kitui spent 106 million for domestic, with 68 million spent by the county executive, just the executive, and 38 spent by the assembly. So that number is not 38. The total number spent by Kitui is 106 million. Kajiado followed, spending 89.98 million on domestic travel, 46.17 million by the county executive, and 43.8 million by the county assembly. All right, off the top, before we even ask the question, how does that make you feel?
Sad. Angry. You know, because we're talking about a county that the president says is underdeveloped, right? Are we able to look at how much Kitui County absorbed in terms of absorption of the budget in terms of for development? Let me look for that, because then you're able to look at, while we're spending so much in traveling, what are we doing with development? One would assume that the over 100 million shillings that we have, that we are spending on moving around, if we put that on development, in ensuring that Kitui is also like a very dry county, if we spent it in drilling boreholes, if we spent these in education, ECDE centers, if we spent these in school feeding programs in an area where food rationing is a reality, perhaps the lives of locals would be much better. This speaks to where our priorities do lie. You know, and if you just go further, Ndu, in Kajiado, 6 assembly officers traveled to Ghana for Hansard Association conference between August 11th and 16th at a cost of 1.67 million shillings. Now, 2 others attended a financial management workshop in Singapore between July 13th and 21st, spending 1.25 million, while 1 official traveled to Russia for a legislative caucus workshop at a cost of 532 million shillings. Ndu. If you are traveling to Ghana for Hansard Association conference, one asks the question, which other institution within the country does exist that would give you more hindsight on matters to do with Hansard than the Parliament of the Republic of Kenya?
Oh my goodness.
You just need to leave Kitui and travel to Nairobi. You get what I mean? So that's Kajiado. We also look at individuals who traveled to Singapore for a financial management workshop. One would say, if you want to discuss matters to do with financial management, where do you go to? Auditor General
here,
and control of budget
to figure out how
show
it's
you
done.
how to do it. These are offices that are in the country. And another one moved to Russia for legislative caucus workshop. Legislative caucus. Don't you just need to walk to Parliament of Kenya, the National Assembly, and have a meeting with fellow members of Parliament and see how to do your business? I'm just asking the question, was it necessary? Is it a priority for you to move outside the country, spend all these hundreds of millions? Yet these are things that you can get within Kenya's boundary and get whatever it is you're looking for.
Indeed. These are the questions that we're asking this morning, because unfortunately these things are happening, and it's no coincidence that the COB report came out at a time whereby there is this surge to go from developing towards developed. And these are the things that we are looking at today, that you spend 106 million shillings, and we've just come off a conversation where clinical workers are not being paid, clinical officers rather are not being paid, they're not being hired, doctors are not being hired. Some of the questions that we're asking. So when you travel, you spend 100 million shillings on travel within the country. Can you see a direct correlation between the travel that you made and a deed that was done that is going to go towards the betterment and the development of the county? Because one would assume that that is what you have actually traveled for. If this is what you have traveled for, we should then be able to see it. We're going to have a conversation with you this morning. We'd like you to talk to us. If we see this kind of spending in the county, and remember that 10 counties did not hand over their reports, so we don't even know what kind of money has been spent. Who should be responsible for ensuring that we already know who should be responsible for ensuring that this kind of money that's been spent goes towards doing something? Are we on the right track towards development with this kind of thing? And that's our question today.
Can I break your heart?
Are we on the right track?
Can I just break your heart?
Okay, break it.
We asked how much Kajiado County spent in terms of development, right? And based off what I've just pulled up, Kajiado County's development expenditure faces significant challenges, with recent reports highlighting zero development expenditure in first quarter financial year 2025-2026, that is July to September 2025. Yet we are spending 89.9 million shillings to move around. But when it comes to development of the county, zero.
So they were amongst the counties that spent 0 shillings on development, according to the same report that was released by the COB. Okay. So that is our question today. With the things that we are seeing, just note, this now is coming from the COB, and we're talking just about travel. That the money that was spent on travel, vis-a-vis 0 to 2% absorption by some counties. Is Kenya on the right track towards reaching this
development status?
Let's just
developed status.
Developed state, first world. Is Kenya on the right track towards development, taking into consideration these things that we have seen? If so, tell us why. If not, tell us why too. 0732-142-650 or 0732-142-652. Let's hear from you this morning, and also we're going to keep it on our socials as well, so that you can let us know what it is that you think. Are we on the right track? If we're not, what is it that needs to be done? And we'll hear from you this morning.
Remember, Ndu, this is the very same county that I think put up a bridge that collapsed a while back.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, right? We are also speaking in terms of a county that is predominantly dry. You know, we also have issues to do with food for the locals. We are also in a county that is big on livestock farming. Yet we do not have proper facilities that would help these farmers process their meat and sell outside of this country. But we're spending hundreds and millions of shillings not on development but on moving around. And even when you're moving around, you look at things that you're going to do. These are facilities, these are programs that you can get within the Republic of Kenya. Our priorities, when the head of state talks about Kenya needs to be to attain the developed status, is that in sync with the counties, or is this just a talk by the executive, the national government, and does not carry everyone around and look at the stopgap measures that will be put in place to avoid wastage and that will accelerate us towards that developed status?
I think the president, in his, in the opportunities that he's had to speak to people, especially about this new economic transformation agenda that is now the talk of, everywhere, that, we can, it's interesting how you can go from one to the other and switch really quickly. But that is the topic of conversation today. And people to be involved in this, because he is imploring Kenyans to be involved in this conversation. The question is Kenya actually on the right track towards this? With all of these things that we see, in this morning, we are only mentioning the kind of money that's being spent by counties on travel. And can it be pointed to something? We're taking your calls. 0732-142-650, 0732-142-652. We'll hear from you this morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. All right, we'll keep taking your calls, and just make sure you speak through clear. 0732-142-650, 0732-142-652. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, dude.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Robert, calling from Doha.
Yes. How are things in Doha this morning?
Doha is cool now. We are in winter, so the heat has cooled down.
Okay.
Yes.
What are your thoughts around this?
Well, my thoughts, I come to think of it. I think, first of all, the counties need to be reduced. We have so many counties.
Yeah.
We need a maximum of 10 counties.
Okay. 10 counties.
The original 10 provinces, the original 8 provinces plus 2. Maybe Rift Valley can divide it into 2 because of the size, and then Nairobi into 2 because of the population.
Okay.
Then the governors should not be elected. They should be appointed. So that they can be held accountable. Because if you listen to the stories across the counties, only ghost workers, a lot of travel, a lot of benchmarking, no work goes on. So this issue of because an appointed governor can be held accountable. He doesn't have the luxury of being in office 5 years, just milking cash from the national government, and at the end of the day, nothing happens.
All right.
So I think that should be what should be done at the moment.
Okay. Thank you for your thoughts on that. We're taking a couple more calls this morning, and we'll hear from you. Let's hear from Amos, who's in Nairobi this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, Amos, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
Well, I'm fine, thank you. What are your thoughts around this?
My thoughts around this, the first thing we need to criticize first is the budgeting process.
Yeah.
Most of the time we hear they do the public participation, but us as the citizen, do we really criticize the budget to see? Because I think part of the thing they'll come to defend themselves, they'll say, this one was budgeted for. And because we approved the budget, we've not gone outside the budget.
Right.
So that is the first thing. So we need to be very key when we are called to do public participation. We criticize those figures at the inception of the budget before it is passed, because once it is passed, it is easy to spend those figures than to spend on development. They will come and tell you that for development, we have a lot of bureaucracy, the approval of by the control of budget and the rest. So most of the time it is approved towards the end of the financial year. But these other ones, they will always spend.
Okay.
So are we also being true as Kenyans? Do we criticize, or do we just say it is not our work? Let them do their work, and then once the money is spent, then I'll start making noise.
Okay. So how would you know, for example, that money has not been spent on development until you are given a report? So what would you say that Kenyans should do in the meantime when you go to visit your county offices, book a meeting with the governor? What should Kenyans do to be sure in the meantime?
Kenyans should be proactive. Most of these MCA and the governors, you see it is devolution, so that means they are local. Do we really question? When the budget is being done, you are always told that we intend to do this project, we intend to build these roads, maybe we intend to expand these hospitals, and the financial year is coming to an end, nothing has been done.
Yeah.
So as Kenyans, are we responsible? Do we really criticize them? Do we really question them? Do we really call them to Barasa to ask them that you promised to do this one this year, you've not done it, and the money was allocated in the previous budget? What has happened? Where is the money?
Okay.
Are we just waiting for the report to come so that we can make noise, in quotes? Are we proactive as Kenyans? These are our people, these are our MCAs, we always have them every day. The governor is always in the county. We know the officers. We always have those public barasas. Do we really ask? Or are we just waiting for the report to come out?
Oh, those are the questions indeed this morning. Thank you so much for that, Amos. Let's take some calls from others this morning, and we'll hear from you later. Hello, good morning. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
I'm Karaja Waweru from Nakuru, Bahati.
Yes, Karanja.
My take is this. We have very good laws, rules, and regulations.
Yeah.
And especially one very vital article about public participation. When we go for public participation, we talk out as one inch. But after that, we have no powers to make sure what we said should go goes. Number two, we have institutions that have been brought up to supervise these things.
Yeah.
And now, if the country's executive is portraying a picture of tourism, why shouldn't the counties follow suit? So a problem here is the one inch has the power, but that power is put aside when they are executing their work. As you have just said here, why go to Singapore to do benchmarking? Yet we have very good technicians in Kenya. Once upon a time in Malawi, they had a problem with the hunger. They took papers from Kenya to do agriculture in their country. We were later to import maize from Malawi. So our problem is not rules and regulations, but The institutions mandated to do their work, the EACC, the parliament and whatever, don't do their work.
Okay.
Why? I don't know. I think Madam Du and my friend there, Kenyans are very intelligent, but they don't have the tools to bite.
I see.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karaja, for your call this morning. We'll take a couple more as we get into this conversation. And, it's interesting that even as we do things like this and folks say, okay, well, how do you get involved? Well, you get involved by lending your voice. Is there a collective thought around how this should actually be? Is Kenya on track towards becoming a developed nation? That's the question that we're asking today. And this has to be an answer that comes from the different things that you see. Not just the dream, but the things that you see. With the things that you see today, combined with the dream that has been that is being, dreamt. Is Kenya on the right track? We're taking calls. Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. How are you? Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Nandi Hills.
You're calling from?
Nandi Hills.
Yes, Nandi Hills. What's your name, sir?
Collins.
Yes, Collins.
Now, when the county government came in, that is 10 years ago,
yeah,
it was meant to help the people who are down here. But what has happened is that it is not working as we thought that it was going to work. So people are still suffering. There are still no medicine in our facilities.
Yeah.
And those people who have been elected there, like the governor and other people, they don't do these resources very well to the people. Instead, there's a lot of things that they do.
Okay. Thank you for your call this morning. Let's take a couple others. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, I'm Julius.
Sorry?
I'm Julius. I'm calling from Kericho.
Yes, Julius from Kericho. Tell us what your thoughts are. Is Kenya on track?
Okay. I think so. The intention.
Okay, your line is not very clear. Maybe you want to try and call us back so that can clear up just a little bit. 07321-42650 or 07321-42652. Is Kenya on track? That's the question that we're asking this morning. Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, is this Julius, eh?
Yes, Julius.
Yes, I'm calling from Kericho, eh?
Yes, Julius. What are your thoughts around this, whether Kenya is on track?
Yes, the Kenya is on track, eh?
Okay.
But I want to speak about the devolution to counties, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the idea of devolution was good.
Mm-hmm.
But now the intention is bad.
What's the intention?
I'm saying this because when you see this traveling, the traveling idea, the money that are spending through this traveling, the benchmarking, is not bad. But now the intention of these people who are going, after they come back from the benchmarking, they are splashing this money a lot.
All right. They're spending too much of the money. So the intent with devolution is what is bad. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the idea, the big devolution, it was reached to us direct.
So if that's the case, Julius, if what you're saying is the case, how can then Kenya be on track if things like this is what we see?
What we need to do as a county, I think so. We need to sit down as a county,
as
and
a country,
go to the county. County. I'm not talking about the county level. County level, eh? As a citizen of the county in this county level, we need to go and ask questions about this, how they are spending this money.
Okay.
I think that is now we will go in a right direction. If we ask questions, if they are spending each and every coin, how do they spend?
Okay.
What are the intention of that money?
These are the questions. Thank you very much, Julius, for your call this morning. We're going to hear from a couple of the folks this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Oh.
Okay, we'll take more calls as we're coming in this morning. 0732 142 650 or 0732 142 652. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from.
I'm Emmanuel. I'm calling from Kericho.
Yes, Emmanuel. What are your thoughts? Is Kenya on track towards development?
No, Kenya is lacking behind in value of infrastructure. And the Singapore story is not really possible.
Okay.
The infrastructure fund, which is the president is talking about, will end up in personal pockets, just like the housing levy.
That's what you see?
Yeah, that's what my thought is. Yeah, so the Singapore story is not really possible in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your thoughts this morning. We're taking more calls as we go into it, and we'll come back. Our socials also, live streams are up on YouTube, Facebook, and on X. We'll get your thoughts here as well. Our poll is running. Let us know what your thoughts are. We're seeing a lot of spend that cannot be accounted for. What does that mean then as it contributes towards the road towards development? Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Joachim Kaune.
Yes, Joachim.
I'm from a place called PI in Kirinyaga County.
Fantastic. What are your thoughts this morning, Joachim?
Sorry?
What are your thoughts this morning? Is Kenya on track?
No, it is not on track, my friend, because it requires common sense to know you cannot spend money on traveling. For example, Kitui County, where I've been to most of the places, when there is no water, animals are dying, people are dying, hunger, and what have you. Are we together?
Yes, we're together.
Then instead of boring borehole, you spend millions going to travel. Where? Surely. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Joachim.
My friend, even at home, it requires common sense. Can you spend money going anywhere when there is no water in the house?
Yeah.
Or there is not enough food in the house? So essentially, let me say we are not on the right track, and I don't know how many people, what can be done to
get us there.
For common sense.
I hear what you're saying, Joachim.
Our readers.
Conversations like this, having an input into what it actually looks like over and over again, definitely is the key. Thank you for sharing your thoughts this morning. We're going to hear from some other folks as well. Asante Sana. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio, sir. All right, let's take some other calls this morning. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, hi.
Hi, how are you? Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Steve and I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, Steve. What are your thoughts on this morning?
I don't think we are on track. We are off the track a long time ago.
Why so?
Because if the money that the government is taking to collect or is collecting from the citizens is eventually used for travels.
Yeah.
Travels that does not bring any business, that does not bring any income to the country, then I don't know what track we are talking about. We are off the track.
I hear you.
At the county level, I believe the MCAs were supposed to oversight the government, so the county government spending.
Yes, they are.
But unfortunately, they become part and parcel of the bandwagon. So, in my view, I think the best thing now is, I know maybe it's a constitutional issue, but maybe disband the MCA levels, then have elective community members at the community level, at the ward level.
Do you think that this will curtail the spending that we see that doesn't have a direct reporting to it?
I believe so, because at that point in time, say for instance in a county where you have, say, 10 wards, every ward is giving 5 people, at least you cannot compromise all the 50 people in one sitting and you tell them we have spent on this item. So the community will be asking these community members, where is our development that the county government was supposed to give us?
I hear you.
Okay. So disband these MCA staff. Since we are the people that are supposed to be affected by this development, let's have people at that level. It could be church community members, the community members who are of a ground and high standing, those are the people that will go now and oversight the county government, sit down with the county government and ask them what is the development on the things that we asked for development, because what the government is spending on is not what the citizens are looking for.
Of course. Thank you for your call this morning. Quite a number of calls coming in, so let's hear from a few other people. Dennis?
Yeah, Ndu, you see, when we're talking about these monies we need to make sense of it. So let's just take Kajiado County, for example. We're talking about 90 million shillings that has been spent on travel. So I just looked up how much it costs to put up a drill, a borehole in the country. So let's take the highest amount, 2 million shillings.
Yeah.
So 2 million shillings, if you divide that, we have 45 boreholes just in Kajiado County, in a county that is predominantly dry. How many people will be served by a single borehole? Now multiply that by 45, and what that would mean to access to clean and drinking water for the people of Kajiado. That is what you're talking about when we spent 90 million shillings on travel.
That's it. That's what we're talking about. My goodness. So translated. So oftentimes you don't make the connection and say, well, when we say that you spent 90 million shillings on travel, and we say that this is one of the ASO areas where there's a problem with water, that 90 million shillings could actually have sorted out the water needs of a number of communities if we sat put.
Because
in one place.
Just take 45 boreholes. A single borehole would serve how many people and how many animals? Because remember, whenever it is dry, whenever there's drought, how many animals die in Kajiado County?
That's a good question. And that math is what should be mathing.
Yes.
We're taking more calls as we come in this morning. 0732 142 650 142 652. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. All right, so we keep others coming in. Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from, sir.
This is John from Bungoma County.
Yes, John. Please tell us your thoughts about all of this.
Yeah, I'm a worried citizen. Our budget allocation is upside down. For example, since the CDF was brought into this country, each constituency gets over 100 million every year. How many boreholes have been sunk in those northeastern counties? Why are we having animals die?
Yeah.
So everybody looks for what he can get out of it. If I sink the borehole, how much is it mine? Now, the civil servants look at what we call it, the per diem. Once it is budgeted, that some of us believe it is budgeted corruption.
Right.
Why should you budget for 100 million for travel to go where?
I hear you. So, and it's within Kenya. It is within Kenya.
Within Kenya.
Yeah.
Yes. Something that is not going to add value. But because he knows if he goes to Mombasa, look at the trend. The seminar is either in Mombasa or in Naivasha because he will get 11,000 shillings. That is why even the MCS will go to. Does it mean in Bungoma we don't have hotels for the same meeting?
You do.
We have halls at the counties.
Yeah.
Why are they not being used?
Pertinent questions, they're good ones, and we can't but keep raising our voices. John, I hear you. I want to take calls from other folks this morning, but thank you for your contribution. It's necessary that we keep listening and keep talking and keep plugging in.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Bless you too. Good morning. Hello, let's take more calls this morning. Calling in 0732 142 650 or 0732 142 652. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Lou.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling in from, sir.
I'm James from Kisumu.
Yes, James.
Yes, currently, I like the discussion that you are putting on board. What we've realized is too much competition for everyone wants to grab something for himself. Actually, if you see, currently the state county levels, it seems everyone is grabbing for something for a pie.
Yeah, part of the pie.
Yes, part of the pie.
Yeah.
If you can just imagine someone traveling out of the country or within the country using 90 million, that is amazing to us. And at the same place, such, for example, Kajiado, I've been in Kajiado. the place is a semi-arid area.
Yeah.
And they depend much on NGOs. NGOs for aid support.
Yes.
For food support and other financial support. But what can a county government account for 90 million versus the need of the people? So it's so amazing, and it's a budgeted corruption, a devolved corruption from the topmost to the lowest. I think Kenyans, we are not on the right track. We are just gazing. If we cannot handle the basics, how do we expect to compare ourselves with Singapore?
All right. Thank you very much for your call this morning. It's stuff to think about, that's for sure. And if anything, that we have these conversations to think about these things. Taking more calls, 0732 142 650, 0732 142 652. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Tom Kahigu. I'm calling from Nairobi.
Yes, Tom.
And I wanted to contribute to the debate, especially on the infrastructure fund.
Please,
in the county.
Tell us.
In my view, the infrastructure fund, the way it has been structured by the government, if I got it correct, is a seed capital. They are going to have, which will be 10% of whatever will be spent eventually on the project.
Okay.
If you look at it from a perspective of, say, even running a company, the government will be having shareholding in whatever projects that will be done to the tune of 10%. Analogously, this looks like, say, KCB, where the government has got 17%.
Yeah.
Or Safaricom, where the government had the 5%, which they are using to maybe 15% after they sell their shareholding, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So they will have invested 10% in each one of these companies that will be doing projects, infrastructure projects that are technically, financially viable. So I have no doubt in my mind that in that perspective, their stakeholding will be 10%, and the companies will be professionally run to be able to recoup whatever investments will have been put in.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
So in my view, since Safaricom has been working well, and KCB has been working well with government shareholding, minority shareholding, there is no doubt that these organizations will also be run professionally by the larger investor. So I do not see any cause for concern that these organizations will be able to execute those infrastructure projects.
All right. Thank you for your thoughts, Tom. Definitely contributing to that. Asante Sana for calling in this morning. We'll take a couple of others and see how we can bring this together. Hello, good morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
This is Joseph from Kwale County.
Yes, Joseph.
I'm very surprised bana viongozi wetu.
Kwa nini sasa?
Sijui how come to travel inakula pesa mingi hivyo kwa sababu I've been traveling to county kadhaa hivi, lakini pesa yenye natumia na viongozi. Okay, let me tell you a small story here. Nilikuwa nakifanya kazi na organization fulani hivi.
Yeah.
So wakawa wananituma Kisumu, wakanituma Wajire.
Yeah.
So nikatoa gari wakaniwekea mafuta. So angalia mahali hizi zinafanyika. So naweza kuchoma mafuta kama 10,000 hivi. Lakini receipt inakuta imeandikwa kama 15,000. Wakati mwingine nikatumwa Nairobi. So nikapewa mpaka ya nyumba, ya chakula, nikapewa 20,000. Lakini kurudi kwa ofisi nikakuta imeandikwa 72,000. Sasa naweza kuona mahali hizo inafanyika. Kwa hivyo hii pesa inakuliwa tu bure na viongozi. Kwa hivyo ningewahimiza Wakenya wenzangu 2027 wanajua chenye kufanya. Wasiangalie ukabila, wasiangalie, yaani wachague viongozi angalau watatuokoa. Maana uchumi umetufinya mbaya sana bana.
Yeah. Nakusikia. Asante sana. Thank you so much for calling in this morning. Dennis, what are some people saying online this morning?
Yeah, let's just go to the socials where Kenyans are also speaking on the same, and I'll just go straight to first of all, the poll is up. You can go as well and just give your views on the same. And Black Juminic, yeah, I hope I've not butchered your name, but he's saying private sector CEO traveling to Ghana for 5 days on business class, stay in a 5-star hotel, will not spend 5 million shillings. So the figures don't make sense. And Humphrey Mushuga says governance is our main problem in this nation. All these and there will be no consequences for these anomalies. So we see what is happening, we know it is happening, but there are no consequences, no heads are turning. And Edwin says, hearing that many counties spent 0% on development is shocking. Will we really become the new Singapore? Can we first establish a rule of law so we can arrest thieves of public money as first step? Counties are really letting us down. 400 billion every year should lead to visible progress.
Right.
What are our basics? Why are people traveling when we have street children, homeless, all over the counties? These are the questions.
These are questions. They're important. And that's the thing. Taking all of this into consideration, the things that are actually happening then become a sum total of your thought to say, are we really on the right track, or should we be taking some of these other things into consideration? 2 more calls. Let's take 2 more of those as we get towards the top of the hour. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I am Tony from Kilifi.
Tony from Kilifi, please turn down the volume on your radio if you don't mind, sir.
Okay. Yes, so my point is...
Yes, Tony.
We are not on track towards achieving the Singaporean status. Because for once, there's just this thing with African leaders that we just don't seem to get this leadership thing. Leadership ought to be all about service to the people.
Yes.
But African leaders view these leadership positions as points of them bossing people around, flossing, whatever, the bravados, which are of no use to the common mananchi.
Yeah.
Because take a look at it, we have 47 counties in Kenya, and in a year, maybe each county would spend like 300 on both foreign and local travel. Just do the math. 300 million times 47, we are at 1.4 trillion, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So that becomes the norm. Year in, year out, year in, year out. Then this Singapore thing just becomes a pipe dream. Yeah, so this whole issue of Singapore, not with this leadership.
Yep, definitely hear you on that. Let's take a couple more calls. Thank you for your call this morning and hearing from some others. Hello, good morning. Okay, all right. So it's interesting to see this sum total of that, we're at the place whereby you need to see certain things happening before you can get to another place, or at least show that you're interested in pushing a certain agenda where your development is at the very bottom before you can strive to get to another place. Or rather to say that if you took care of some things down here, that essentially launches you onto the next spot without you even knowing.
I think even as we ask the question, is Kenya on track towards Singapore? I think the bigger question is, are we prepared for that dream? Because in preparation for us to be then on track is what matters. Have we sealed all the loopholes, wastage, Have we addressed the basics, education? Have we addressed healthcare? Have we addressed service delivery to Mwananchi for us to say that now we have fixed our bases, that now we are ready, we are prepared to start the journey towards Singapore? Because you can never start that journey if you have not addressed the basics. The people who will take you there, mwananchi wa kawaida. If you do not sort out mwananchi wa kawaida, regardless what you do, you will not get there. Nduwezi. It is not just a show for the executive. It is not just a show for the leadership of the country. The people have to be on board this dream and listen to what Kenyans are saying. No one is aboard that dream, because you look at the wastage that is happening. Look at what counties are doing. How are we getting there if the people in Kajiado do not have water? What is the story in Singapore with regard to access to clean water? What is their story when it comes to healthcare and education? Have we sealed all those loopholes? Have we addressed those problems for us to say, finally now our people are comfortable and they're working with us in this journey towards getting to Singapore?
The basic things need to be sorted out. You must. We've heard all of these things being thrown about in the last couple of weeks. Micro indicators need to then have been leveled, that you need to be sure that, have you taken care of that your people are eating? Are you taking care of that? Maybe things like, I don't think you're sick. First world, you're sick. I don't think developed country problems are that you turn on the tap and the water doesn't come out of it, or that there's no tap to begin with, or that you're food rationing for people who are living in
stinking.
I don't think those are the issues that they're dealing with. I think they've long sorted out those problems before, and that they're not dealing with certain things that we see plaguing us. They're not going to have it's not going to be, for example, in a place whereby they dealt with corruption full on, that you will say that there's a control of budget, you've not handed in your spend report to the control of budget, and it's just okay.
It's just okay.
She puts it in her report that you've not sent, and we're just like, oh yeah, okay, we've not sent, no problem. And then you're telling me that you're on the road towards development, my friend. Basics. And those need to be looked into. Every time we ask you to call, you do. Every time we ask you to come in and have this conversation with us, we do. So there is an appetite. We can see this, guys, even just from this room. We can see that there's an appetite to do better. And we can still see your calls coming in. Our time doesn't allow us to take any more of those right now. But we can see that Kenyans truly are vested in a better Kenya, in a better tomorrow. So it is keep the hunger there. Don't ever let it go. It's very important that we do. Good
Stay
morning.
Committed. Stay
Absolutely.
Committed.
Good morning at 9 a.m.
Spice up your life. The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Good morning. This is the Newswire. I'm Leah Ubaga. 7 Kenyans have been arrested in South Africa for working without the proper visas. According to the South African Foreign Affairs Ministry spokesperson, Calivan, the arrests followed an operation by security agencies. The individuals who had entered South Africa on tourist visas were found working illegally at a U.S. refugee processing center. Van said they have been detained, ordered for deportation, and banned from re-entering South Africa for 5 years. Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has urged drivers to exercise caution on the roads this festive season. Speaking at the Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church, she said speeding as a major cause of accidents and advised drivers against driving under the influence of alcohol.
Ukienda ukikimbia utakufa kwa njia. Kama ni kutaka safari, anza safari mapema. Kama sio hivyo uende polepole kwa barabara. Maneno ya kuendesha gari, kama ni unakimbia ufike mahali unataka kufika, ukiendesha hivyo tumeona wengine hawajafika bwana. Let us just be very careful on the roads and na tuheshimu sheria za barabara. Nini na wengine wanaendesha gari ni walevi. You do not drink and drive. Tafadhali kama umeamua kunywa pombe yako nyumbani, kaa nyumbani. Hata kama mnaenda sherehe, chukueni mtu mmoja yule hawezi kunywa pombe, yule akunywagi pombe awaendeshe.
Turkana Governor Jeremiah Lomorukai has pledged unconditional support for the UDA party, vowing to make it more popular in the county. He pointed to recent by-election victories in Nanan and Lake Zone wards, where UDA won both seats, as proof of growing support.
Mimi kama governor, count on my support. My support is clear. Haina condition. Sita kusanction to give me anything. I will support you and will deliver for you. Of course they know I will deliver for you. They know. In fact, this story ingine yote ni kidogo. They know I will deliver for that party and I'm ready to deliver to it. Wale wengine wanilete balance ya 10%.
Lomorukai, elected on an ODM ticket in 2022, appears to have joined UDA.
Mimi nimerejea kujenga party. Na wakati nataka kujenga party, sitaki misukosuko mbele ya barabara yangu. Nataka nitengeneze hiyo chama bila vitisho, bila kejeliwa. I am in that party because I belong to that party. Hiyo ni sawa, sio sawa?
And former Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha is running for the Trans Nzoia gubernatorial seat and has stressed the importance of collaboration between county and national governments for key projects. Speaking at the funeral of Mungai John Singaway, father to Dr. Korir Singaway, PS for Foreign Affairs, Nakhumicha emphasized that such cooperation is crucial for improving services in health, infrastructure and education.
Wacha niwaambie watu wa Trans Nzoia, mtu asiwadanganya ya kwamba kama county unaweza fanya maendeleo ya kutoshelesha kila mtu. You must work with the national government. And I'm talking without fear. Kwa sababu kuna miradi ambayo usipofanya na national government haitafanyika. Mumesikia KIPES ilikufa 160 million dead because we don't want to work with the national government. Shame on us, Trans Nzoia. Kule Homa Bay kuna mama anaitwa Wanga amejenga stadium in 1 year kwa sababu anafanya kazi na national government. Stadium yetu bado tuna inspect foundation.
She also pledged to address mismanagement of public resources.
Hapa Trans Nzoia mambo yetu mengi imekufa. Afya imekufa, uchumi imekufa, elimu imekufa, ukulima imekufa. Oh jameni, Mama Rispa ako hapa. Mumeniona? Mimi ndio Mama Rispa kwa niaba ya Trans Nzoia, na sitaondoka hapa Trans Nzoia kama mtoto wenu, Mama Rispa wenu. Lazima tuokoe Trans Nzoia. Hiyo miezi 6 ambayo Mama Rispa alingoja, mimi nangoja miezi 20 kufikia August 2027. Hizi mashida na watoto wetu ambao wamekufa, uchumi nini zitaisha.
That's the news wire. I'm Lea Ubaga.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
If we just gloss over issues and hope that time heals, then we might find that in generations to come, we might be back at the same situation. And the whole thing is born of stolen elections.
Spice.
When it comes to the decisions you make, you must be independent. There's no way you can allow one institution to dictate to you how you're going to conduct your operations, how you're going to decide cases. It's a no.
When you weaken the institution to the point where they cannot take action, then you realize that politicians have to come up and now start dealing with the issues.
That conversation has to die. Our politicians do not like the hard stuff. We must insist on the path of doing things right, whether popular or unpopular.
Money changes hands. That is a fact. If you have political goodwill at the highest top, like in Rwanda, then corruption will be an issue of the past. If you don't have political goodwill at the top, we will pass laws, we will amend laws, we will continue passing laws and re-amending laws, and nothing will happen.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
In this country, 6 families and 8,000 Kenyans control 90% of the GDP. We are not a country. We are a plantation. We work for Ruto.
When you're telling the judges court orders are papers or they will not obey court orders, they're sitting and you're seeking orders from them. So how are they supposed to interpret it? Isn't it an oxymoron?
When you see a judiciary that seems to be under some control somewhere, you start questioning. We have very powerful governors, but they don't use their offices to serve the people.
If you are not shameful to do what you are doing, why should we protect you?
I'm human. Everybody's human. So when you're told, kuja tuongee, I mean, you'd be a fool to say, stagi kuongea. Conversations have to be had, you know?
People in leadership should only go into leadership if they are ready and willing to change the lot of the people.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
At 7 minutes after 9 o'clock, into the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation for this Thursday, and we're going into one whereby coming to the end of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the hope is to get rid of gender-based violence. But are we on the right track? Those are the questions that form part of the conversation that we will be having. We are looking into things this morning, but before we do that, Dennis has been telling us that if we have some money in your pocket, you don't have to be disconnected from the way things are.
And imagine you just need to save up your money even while doing it, because if you spend 19 shillings, think of it, 19 shillings, you get to enjoy an hour of unlimited data. You spend 45 shillings and you're enjoying 3 hours of unlimited data. Think of it. What can you do with that data, especially during this Christmas season when you are spending time with your family and friends? You're able to connect, you're able to enjoy your movies, you're able to enjoy your music, you're able to connect with the summer bunnies who are unable to come here because ticket prices are over the roof, you know. This is what Airtel is promising you. How do you get to it? *544# is where you go to, or you go to Your My Airtel app and download it on App Store or on Play Store, as well as just walking into the nearest Airtel shop and buy yourself a SIM card. And I keep insisting, it is the Christmas season. Streaming music will be a bigger part of it all. You want to be in those rooms and in these spaces. You don't need to miss out. Remember, we're giving you an opportunity to win 3,000 Kenya shillings if you tell us that story when you missed out on an opportunity, on a moment in your life, and you say, if I only had the Airtel unlimited data bundle, I would be part of that. Christine, on our social media, will talk to you and give you 3,000 shillings courtesy of Airtel.
Indeed. So we've been talking and we've been asking ourselves questions about what you then do with your future. How then do you make sure that your future is guaranteed when it comes to investments that you will make? And our good friends at ICEA Lion are saying that you don't have to be worried about the future, that you can actually start now. Let's end it with some optimism, because at its core, ICEA Lion is in the business of human growth and the joy of a better life. They want to romance the benefits of planning for the future in an upbeat, memorable way. This isn't about fear. It's about the great life that you could build when you're prepared. They help discerning individuals create wealth and also protect themselves through innovative services. Whether it's wealth generation, protecting assets, or retirement security, ICEA Lion is a brand for you. If you're not planning for the future with insurance and investments, it's high time you did. So what's your plan? Get started with icealion.co.ke. Get on shopping.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's your captain speaking. Get ready and buckle up, because Naivas is here and is telling you it's going to give you an opportunity to have the best Christmas ever. But how exactly are you doing that? Because Naivas is bringing the festive fire with giveaways happening every single day, every single moment, if you ask me. Because from winning a legendary Naivas Kikwetu Mbuzi daily, Naivas is at it again and is giving you an opportunity to have fresh chicken getaways every day all the way to the 24th of December. That is Christmas Eve. This is your winning moment and you get an opportunity to win cars. If you are into bodaboda, motorcycles, you want to start biashara here and there, you can win that as well. And you also have an opportunity to win electronics during this festive season. Watch, enjoy your music, you know, as well as the ongoing Naivas Kikwetu promotion that is just one of its kind. So Naivas is telling you, be sure to use your loyalty card and you have an opportunity to win and even get to enjoy the freshest foods that they are there in all Naivas stalls. Naivas saves you money. Go shop, go win.
With Naivas. Fantastic. We get into a conversation today as we looking at ending GBV. Joining us in the studio this morning, Dr. Susan Gital is a psychologist, and Victoria Wanjiko, gender activist and author. And we're looking into staying safe during the holiday season. And we say a very good morning to you both. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Karibu sana. Thank you for joining us in the Situation Room this morning. We've come off of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence and looking into what exactly that means rates, and looking at festive seasons where we see some of these rates actually go up. So let's look into some of this this morning. But before we do, Dennis is going to share today's proverb, and we'd love to get your interpretation of it.
So our proverb this morning comes from the continent, pretty much. Our proverbs come from Africa. But this one now, we've been doing it a little bit differently, focusing on issues. And this one talks about fairness. So I'll just go straight into it, and you will get an opportunity to interpret. Remember, your interpretation is not wrong. All right? Yeah, so in the panel of wolves, a sheep can never get a fair hearing. Like, how would you interpret it?
Now it's like, you know what I'm going through right now. As I'm here, actually, we are having a swearing in of a candidate for the biggest professional body in Kenya, Kenya Counseling Psychological Association. And one of us actually tried to appear a woman, female. And she was getting her reply very late in the night. And the swearing in happening now. And these are professionals, so I saw her so alone. So I'm also saying at times the way I would interpret it is you're going through something, and then one person maybe says something, and then everybody starts looking at it negatively. You're all alone.
Victoria.
I'm thinking it's like having a piece of pork and wanting to sell it outside a mosque. You won't get anywhere.
You won't get anywhere?
Yes.
I don't even think you'll get there.
You may not.
Yes.
Well, okay. So, every year we ask the question, every year we have the conversation, every year we commemorate the 16 days, but every year the numbers seem to be increasing and the situation seems to be getting worse. The victims are younger and older, and the grotesque nature of violence, gender-based violence, is increasing. And it's not girls anymore, it's boys too. And we are seeing terrible things happening. And we've also seen that during holiday periods, during festivities, during times where people are away from their normal, beat of the day, we're also seeing that this violence, this abuse increases. And the severity of it then also increases. So now we are at another cycle at the end. And I just have to ask, maybe from both of you as we start this, what gains have we made if the numbers are increasing and the acts are getting worse? Where have we gone with this? Start with you, Njeri.
I think we need to appreciate the fact that speaking out more gets us somewhere. The more we speak up, the more action there is. For example, now if you walk into a police station, there's a gender officer, there's someone addressing that. I'm speaking out of experience because I have walked into a police station going to report assault and I wasn't assisted. Things have changed. So we have to appreciate the strides that have been made as far as handling abuse and the authorities coming to our help for the abused, yes.
So it's getting better because people are speaking about it more?
Speaking about it more and having authorities handle it.
Yeah.
Okay. Are authorities handling it?
It's better now. I'm comparing. Yes.
Okay.
It's better now.
Do it for us. How are they doing it better now than they did it before? How are they handling it better now than they did before?
I'll go back to my example. I walked into a police station and said I was assaulted. And I was asked where is a P3. So I didn't have any physical marks to show that the assault had happened. And I felt so helpless because there was nothing to show yet the assault had happened. But right now, if you walk into a police station, there's a gender officer who will address whatever the issue is. They will try and assist you. Back then, that wasn't available.
Yes. Victoria, As we talk about the gender desk at police stations today, I mean, it is a process, it's a journey that started way back, and it is a journey that started with all the stakeholders coming on board and seeing how best to be able to address or deal with such issues. And even when we have survivors, victims walking in, one of the best ways rather that have been documented is, first of all, dealing with the mental space of an individual for them to be able to go through the processes easily, even just being able to sit down and write that statement. How critical is it when we have these gender desks, or we have individuals even in hospitals who understand the process well in terms of documenting and even assisting the victim or the survivor at the time?
I think that's very critical, because gender-based violence is considered one of the most traumatic experiences one can go through. And her mentioning about the gender desk and the gender officers there, I support one in Thika where I live. And one of the challenges I have seen, even if we have very good guidelines on GBV survivor case management process, we still are lacking professionals in that area. And I am a counseling psychologist, but I could have a specialization in parenting. But when you talk about gender-based violence, you must be well-grounded in trauma-focused therapy. And anyone who is in that office needs to have the skills. But how do they even appoint them? How do they place them there? Have they gone through that training? And because I work in one and I try to support them in the best way that I can, but I look at it, I say, yes, it's helping because somebody knows you cannot just violate anyone. But at the end of the day, I see them overwhelmed, very overwhelmed. And so they send some of these cases to our centers. So as much as we've made a very good step in that direction, we need professionals there. Why do I say that? Gender-based violence trauma, if it's not processed and you don't heal, then you cannot be sure that tomorrow you'll not violate someone else. And that includes the very innocent ones like your children, either knowingly or unknowingly. So for me, I would say, let us know that trauma is real, and those people who man those desks, they need to be trained. And they don't have to be trained like some of us, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years, 10 years. There are those skills that are very specific on GBV trauma recovery and healing. And that should be done. So if the authorities are coming in, Vicky, let them also come in to give capacity building for the people they have given the mandate to be in those offices. Because I still see these people, when they are sent to us, I still see the wounds. And maybe it's after they've seen the children behaving. Everyone gets touched by children. Because I don't think any child in any part of this world needs to suffer because of the problems of their parents or the people around them or the community around them.
Yeah. So, Vicky, we look at a situation where you walk into a police station to report a matter and you say you left there sad, defeated, pretty much because there was no assistance where you ran to. But here you are today speaking up, and one would say the best way to deal with trauma is by sharing it, so that you get the assistance that you need.
Yes.
And as you speak today, what's the impact of especially to those in your circle who, for not some weird reason, due to an inability, because you also can't force someone to get out and speak, but what's the impact in terms of encouraging survivors to just get up and speak up and raise awareness, so that at the end of the day we can achieve that promise by President Uhuru Kenyatta at the time, that GBV would be a thing of the past this year?
I would say the impact has been really good around me. So I'll speak from experience. Those around me, I love to write a lot. I've written a book. I actually went and compiled my Facebook posts and turn them into a book, because I used to write about my experiences, good and bad. But as far as GBV goes, I would say the responses I got from the people who read the stories I write, and people will say, thank you for speaking about this. I could never speak about this. Shame is a big thing. There's a lot of shame associated with GBV. So when I write and someone tells me, thank you for giving voice to this, or when I say I left that toxic marriage and someone tells me that you give me permission to do it because I saw you do it. Because especially women, when you have children, they find it very hard to walk away from a toxic relationship. Mostly they say it's financial, but I feel like sometimes you just need to take a leap of faith. There's always solutions for everything. So for me, it's given me power. And around me, I can see very good impact around the women around me. Yes.
If we look over the last couple of years, let's look from when COVID, knocked, and then there were lots of people at home because we were not moving. We saw some of the highest cases in terms of numbers, in terms of what was happening with people. I mean, we had highest cases of teenage pregnancies ever recorded in some counties in this country over that period. We saw defilement cases go through the roof. And this was because people were at home. The trajectory changed. So people moved from where they normally were doing something in a particular space. And so then people were at home, idle, in a lot of cases. And then as we see, that became it became the devil's workshop for real, because we saw the cases. But we also saw the advocacy around these cases, and I don't mean advocacy in a good way, because a lot of these cases did not make it to the courtroom. They were settled by people whereby it was okay that an uncle did this to a young girl, and the family would say, okay, well, let's have a conversation about it and put it to bed. These are the people who show up in your office, Dr. later on in life and are not really sure what's going on. We're looking at cases of a mother who doesn't know her child is being abused in church by a worker in a room somewhere. We're looking at cases of a boy who hangs himself in a room because he's sodomized by his teachers in a boarding school. These are real cases of Kenyans today. And when we say that we're handling it, how much better can we do? Because what you deal with, Daktari, is that you deal with, unfortunately, and we'll come back to you, Adjuka, a little bit, because you talk about it and then you say that one of the ways in which you can shed the shame is by talking about it for people to understand. But can we say that we are dealing with it if the people who come to you have been through the trauma and they've been through the damage, you're trying to put them back together, essentially. Are we dealing with it?
That's just a part of it. Because why is it not ending? For me, the buck stops with the legal system. Because if this was taken very seriously, that no chief is bribed to hide this, no family member is ashamed to talk about it, and no justice is denied for the victims. And it's broadcasted, let people know it. Because it's very sad, because I have also dealt with children, especially vulnerable children. Although the justice system, part of it, the children's court is trying. Because there's one time I had a whole lot of magistrates and I asked them, a 5-year-old who is sodomized and blindfolded doesn't know that if there's blood oozing out of their private parts, it's not a knife that cut them. So they go and say, I was cut by a knife by Uncle so-and-so. And the court says, where is that knife? And this is where we come in, the psychologists, because we do the screening. We do the psychological assessment. And children tell their stories differently. And for me, as you talk about the cases that come to us, do you know adults, unlike Victoria here, very ashamed of talking about it, whether it's psychological, whether it is that emotional abuse. But children are vulnerable and innocent. They will talk. They will draw, right? So if we are not there, and I want you to watch documentaries of GBV cases, especially done in the Western countries, you will never miss the input of a psychiatrist and a psychologist and a social worker. How is that networking working here? You will see the UN Women having very good programs on the same. But when we come back home, is that working? Is there funding for this? Even if we receive pro bono legal services, how long can you do pro bono services and you went to school? Is there funding for that? So if the system is there on paper and it is not there in practice, that we say when theory does not meet practice, then there is no intervention happening that you can call effective. So we still have those cases, and it's sad. You mentioned COVID-19 pandemic. That was just one phase that showed how angry people are and how much they have bottled in, and there was no outlet at that time but the loved ones next to them. So if people were going to work to bury their emotions there, and no, that time there was no opportunity to do that. If you're going to church, the mosque, the temple to praise and worship, there was no opportunity. And so you showed the true colors at that time. What did we do? What did the system do? And the people who come to us, by the way, especially professionals, it's very sad. It's those who can afford. What about the poor? And those living in those poor neighborhoods, they are the most affected. Right now, we're running a program in Kiandutu slum just to make sure, because I worry and I'm more concerned about children. Because if you are violated as a child, a teenager, as an adult, and no help was given to you, you do not negotiate any other stage later in life in an effective way. And relationships in your life later on, they don't work out. But where do you trace that?
So I'd love to interject. I am that child because I was sexually abused at 5 years old, at 8 years old, and as a young adult.
Wow.
So I represent a demographic. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s. I represent a demographic of adults who've been assaulted as children. And now we are adults, here we are. So what do we do?
Right.
Maybe my story is different because I decided to look for healing for myself. I've done a lot of self-work. And part of it also is writing. Writing my book has given me a voice to, talk about it and deal with it. But there are so many, I can tell you, there's so many women who tell me, it was, like in my case, it was a family member, it was a neighbor, it was a colleague when I was a young professional. So I don't know.
Vicky, I mean, you stated how writing about it, talking about it is one of the ways for you to deal with it. But if you listen to what Dr. is saying, there is need of that professional input to deal with the trauma that no one understands apart from the victim themselves. Have you sought professional help?
Yes,
how big of a change has that been? And how has that then even given you credence to continue writing with the help of the professional assistance? And as we talk about it now, here's a question where you look at the young people, children who are told, ukiongea nitakumaliza.
Yes. I was that child. I was told by the adults who violated me that I couldn't speak, so I did not speak. And it took crisis as a young adult to realize this is destroying me. But you see, unfortunately, in fact, there's a time I was wondering, is it written on my face, that I can assault this one? But those patterns keep repeating and repeating until the day you will address them. So yes, for me, I sought help. I sought professional counseling. I I thought like extensively. It's not a year or two, it's something. And right now, even after going through all the counseling, I have a life coach. Like for me, I feel like it has to be ongoing. It never ends. But it's given me now, I would say, should I say, I'm normal? You know, I can speak about it without crying. I'm confident.
I don't think there's anything
shame.
abnormal about not being able to do that. Well, I don't think that you were abnormal because you didn't speak about it. It didn't make you less of a human being. I mean, it's a traumatic experience, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. It's a traumatic experience that you go through. And in your case, unfortunately, severally. So then... And it's interesting that she said that, Dr. because she thinks that she was abnormal because she couldn't speak about something so traumatic. But she wasn't, was she?
She was not abnormal.
Yeah.
She's just a normal young soul going through an abnormal. That is above her, you know? And the threats. And that's what I worry about children. We have to teach them to speak up.
Yes.
Because adults, by the way, when they are violated over 18 and they come for therapy immediately, they heal faster. But for children, like she's saying, it's what we call psychotherapy, serious. Counseling and psychotherapy are two different approaches to intervention psychologically. And for her, when people keep seeing her going to a life coach or even a counselor, they may even say, oh, you haven't healed yet, right? Because it was planted when she was very young. So you can imagine the damage on the brain processes. So the rewiring that brain takes time. And so anybody who is violating another person, if you have that human heart, do you know how costly it is? Emotionally, psychologically, and even spiritually. Because if I could tell everybody to keep their hands off anyone, their mouth that is abusive of anyone, I'm telling you then we would enjoy life. But I don't think we do. Because people like us now, let me talk about the professionals. Again, they are like the children. You will be violated, but how do you talk? What will the world say about you? All right? Yeah. And I think we need to just rise above shame. Look at the people who've come out. Maybe you're high profile and you say, this has happened to me from a human face. And this is how it has affected me. How many people you change today? How many lives are you going to change? Many, because you've told your story. But what I worry about is social media. Where you find there are other people who are sick in their own way, and you post there. I'm surprised that nobody ever said anything negative on your post. Because I watch a lot, even on TikTok. Someone says, oh, my husband did this. Or some even videotape and they show us what's going on. And somebody, you can see the comments, and another one creates content with that. So do you think we're even fully aware of what we are doing to one another?
I think, Daktari, that is where I think rubber meets the road, right? Yeah. Because when you speak about GBV, many look at it from this perspective of Victoria has talked about it, or the government moved into a certain community where FGM was working, and now there's these arrests that have happened. But you never really pause to think in terms of, are we having these conversations in our homes? Are we having these conversations among our communities? So that at the end of the day, the young and the old are all in this conversation, because there are stereotypes that do exist. There are communities today where a young girl will feel less of a woman because they've not gone through FGM. Simply because that community has stereotyped women who've not gone through that, and she feels left out. The other day I was watching something again on TikTok, and an individual in the United States of America was saying live on camera the way right now during winter, this festive season, is when their girls in the United States are going through FGM. I watched that and I was like, yo, how? Social media. So are we having these conversations in our spaces?
I doubt.
Are we? And if not, shouldn't that then be where the focus is, even from the macro level, government looking down and ensuring that this conversation start from, again, bottom up?
Yeah, and I think this is where community-based counseling comes through. And who are these people who are going to offer community-based counseling? These are the lay helpers. These are the volunteers in the community who have a heart for other people. But who is going to train them? Yes. And even how many can you train? Like, I have trained about 16 Thika because of a slum I grew up in, and I saw this violence you're talking about. And I thank God, I don't know how I escaped, honestly. But I saw it, and that is what we call vicarious PTSD. Though it is not as traumatic like the first-hand experience, vicarious also can affect you. And so people keep even asking, why do you still go back to the slum? It's like going back to your own, mess. Yeah. But it's those kids, I look at them, honestly, and I'm like, I would rather have them confined in a space I know what's happening in their lives. Because I had very close family members. You can imagine, my mom had very beautiful daughters, and how they were violated in teenage, and how their lives were cut short. And so if we can talk about these conversations at that basic society unit, that is the family, let's talk about sex, let's talk about violation that is physical, let's talk about your experiences in school, let's talk. Because if children are empowered, they will speak about it. If young adults, you can imagine young girls and young men, because I want to be very fair, because I get both of them. Yeah. Especially at the university or college level. How much violence is happening? How much GBV is happening at universities? How do you talk? How do you go tell your mother you're at UN, right? You're sexually violated,
Well, that's because that we've shunned it at a young age. So are we essentially saying that because of this culture and tradition of not speaking about these things when we're younger, because, children are supposed to be seen and not heard, the issues that you suffer from or the issues that you're curious about, people say, well, we leave that for adulthood. But guess what? You're traumatized when you're a child, 5 years old, 8 years old, and people are still telling you, well, we're not going to talk about that because that's for adults to talk about. But guess what? By the time they're an adult, they've been abused, they've been destroyed. So can we see a direct correlation between keeping this thing silent and then the severity of damage that we see later on that we can do very little to salvage?
Honestly speaking, I'm sure maybe a few people liked you when you talked about it. Some were even telling you, stop now, right?
Yeah, a few said it's shameful.
You're exposing the family.
Yes.
It's your life.
Yes, I want to cut them off.
Yeah, I want to tell those listening to us, at the end of the day, it's you living that life. It's not them. It's not your mother. It's not your father. It's not your auntie. It's not your uncle. It's not your teacher. It's not your grandma or grandfather. It's you. And I guess that is why we need to empower the individual. Whether it's the child, whether it's that wife, that husband, because men, they're even the worst. Because especially our culture, you have to man up. Men have been violated. Kauka kama sijui ni sabuni ama ni muti.
Then you break.
And then now you're finding men drinking silly and you're like, hey, huyu mtu hata ananga kazi ingine ya kufanya. But that man is even imagining, how do I even talk about this? And I want to be very, very proud of those men who have come out, even if they've not come out in the open like Victoria, even coming for therapy. And even telling me, this wife of mine, I'm happy we are finally here. We are here. And in most cases, men are brought by the said women. And then the women come because they are complaining, you are not doing ABCD. And then the man says, thank God we are here now. If it is talking like this, let me also talk.
Yeah.
So it's just talking. It's having candid conversations.
Yes.
Because for men, we may not have the muscles maybe to beat them up, although some of us do have. But we can damage psychologically, emotionally, and put in shame, especially with words. Women are very good at verbal abuse. and they know where to hit men.
And they hit it right.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's look at, you've mentioned 3 instances where the violations happened, right? Why was it difficult for you to, in your own deduction, the first instance, second, until the third time when you came up to speak, just so we paint a picture of why it was difficult then, and it got to a point where you decided to finally speak up as a child, as a young adult?
Mm-hmm. As a child, when you're threatened and told not to speak, I remember I was told my violator showed me a knife and told me if I speak, and he just did this with the knife. So I knew there were dire consequences, you know. So as a child, I really didn't have a voice, so to speak. But as a young adult, when it happened, that's when I took action. Actually, that was my turning point. I was 24 years old. That was my turning point because I sought help, like she said, at least for young adults, you can seek for help immediately. I sought help immediately. But then the long journey started because these wounds, you've carried them for years. You know, age 5 to age 24, 20 years of, you know, these wounds. So it was much easier as a young adult to seek for help. And it was very difficult, but it's possible to overcome.
You see, Doc, when you talk about the numbers, I was just looking up something here, and GVRC recorded around 4,000 GBV cases a day. They say they get about 4,000 cases. If you look at between 2024 and 2025, we're recording around close to 600 cases a year. And you just look at how many days you have in a year, and that would tell you 2 individuals get violated every day in this country. When you talk about 4,000 cases,
that is GVRC.
Just GVRC. There are also those that are not reported.
Yeah.
There are those who are reported and the police never get to GVRC.
Yes.
And let's just break it. Let me break hearts. When you talk about 4,000 people, as you speak right now, we're talking about 4,000 individuals who are dead because of road accidents. Let's just look at that number, 4,000. If you line up 4,000 people in this country, those are enough people to put a member of parliament into office. That's just in terms of what these numbers mean. And these are 4,000 individuals who are in our societies, who are damaged, who are hurt, and work with us on a daily basis with a pain and difficulty on a daily basis. Would you say that even as we speak of universal health care, that we have not put in place resources to deal with this problem that we have as a country?
You know, I always laugh because I don't think psychological help has been taken seriously. But she is a witness. Because if my brain is rewired from maybe to recover from GBV trauma, then you've opened up everything I need to be the best version of myself. And that's why she can be able to write a book. I'm sure she speaks to many people about it, girls, and especially the little ones, and how they can protect themselves. That universal health cover. If you look at, because maybe we have borrowed a lot from the US, UK, wherever, nobody there will miss an opportunity to have psychosocial support. And psychosocial in there, there is counseling or mental health and wellness support. In fact, counselors like us in the US don't look for jobs. The government pays them. They only need to approve you and where you work. I have my colleague in Atlanta. I was telling her, I wish I were here, you know? Here, for you to access the counselor of my caliber, you have to dig deep from your pocket. It doesn't have to be that way. The government right now has the counselors and psychologists board. So it should actually have those licensed because they have provided their competencies and their credentials. They should actually be listed. And looking especially at those that have loss and grief because you felt like your child was stolen from you, right? Those who have trauma therapy experiences or competencies, and those who have good grounding on psychopathology, because if she did not seek for counseling services, now you would be blaming her for something else. Because when she said, the cycle continues. Sometimes the people we blame and we say, oh, those people you find, what are they looking for? Uko Koinange Street? Ni nini wanatafuta? Alichapo akifanya nini? You know? Then we say, oh, that one is always sex hungry. But you can imagine a 5-year-old whose sexual gonads were activated at that tender age when they were supposed to be doing something else. And the brain is very interesting. If you do not rewire that memory, it keeps it. And it starts working with it. So you find a 10-year-old is showing other kids in the school how to play sex. And you pitch that child senseless. Where did they learn that from?
They saw it somewhere.
So even the teachers, and I was a teacher for many years, even the teachers need training because that is the second home of a child. And if you cannot pinpoint or pick out that child that is violated, whether it's the physical with the marks and of course sexually, which I consider number one worst form of violations against humanity. Because it does not only fracture your mind and your body, it fractures your spirit and your soul. And if you look at people who really would want to do the worst, even during genocide and all that, that is one way that they use. Because they know it will take long. So when I see our leaders, even sometimes using women to do some things that they think because they are vulnerable, we make them do ABCD. I am one person who asks, now, if we go to some probably public event, who shows more of their body parts? It's women. These ones, unless it's a shirt removed and they are dancing hard because they are sweating. So those are the discussions we are supposed to be having.
About what?
When somebody makes fun of my body in a public space.
Yeah.
And I even let it go. I let it go. What have I told that person? You can continue doing it.
The cycle repeated.
Exactly. So for me, I don't see seriousness in these discussions in our spaces. And everybody needs to take position. Even for you discussing this kind of a topic here, it's a bit bold, you know? Because what we are doing right now, there are people we could be re-traumatizing.
True.
Right now. Because of our story and others who are writing right now their stories. Who's going to handle them? It's going to handle them. 1 hour on air, is that enough? We have the bottom up, the real one, bottom up, where the child is taken care of, that there should be child community counselors. You see this Nyumba Kumi?
Yes.
That they can see this child. And that's what we are doing in Kiandutu with the Mungano Community Counselors Group. They say this one, and then they know to chief. If chief is unable, police station. Just the referral system here, we need to all work together. And I don't think that is happening. Where I have a right, if I have been approved as a community councillor, to actually take care of the members within my space, then the chief needs to know me. The OCS in that place needs to know me. The health officer in that space needs to know me. So that we don't delay justice, we don't delay help. Your P3, how long? I don't know how long you took you to get it. And the child is bleeding. There in Thika, we even say, first take care of this child. We have seen, we have known. And we always say for the best interests of children, because adults, we can take a little bit care of ourselves. Just save that life first and foremost. And believe the child before you even believe anybody else.
So can we deal with this issue? And that's the thing that I think we've gotten to the point where we say, can we actually deal with the issue? Because you said something, if the chief can't handle it, then we go to the police. If the police can't handle it, then what would be the reason why they can't? If we look at other jurisdictions whereby you have things like active lists where there are, pedophiles listed, so that it is public knowledge that you do this to children. It's public knowledge that you are a serial defiler. Everybody knows there's everything but the scarlet letter on your chest, and that we have these conversations that you will. The precedent has been set that we know that you do this. Today, what are we looking at? There are very many cases of come on, there are children who are. As we speak today, and that's what the statistics tell us. But we are not dealing with the issue, and I think we can actually say this boldly today, that we are not dealing with this issue.
But that's true.
That what is disease? What is disease? Disease is dis-ease, lack of ease, lack of comfort. We are growing people in society who are damaged at a childhood level. That's why the team who came out and said this mental health issue is an emergency issue. What does that mean? Something has to be done about it today, not tomorrow. Let's not think about it. Let's not go have a conference somewhere and decide what we are going to do. No. Let's talk about it today, so that across the ecosystem, everybody in the justice system, in the security system, at the community level is plugged into this conversation. But we seem to think, they're children, they'll get over it. No. They're not. They don't. From what you're saying, or that it's a grown-up who's been raped. It's a man who's been sodomized. It's happening, and we can say this. It is happening. But I'm a bit discouraged this morning because we are not getting better. How many 16 days of activism against gender-based violence have we had in the last 10 years?
True.
But the numbers are increasing. We spend millions around the world, dollars, spend money, go to conferences, talk about it. The societies and communities are involved in these conversations, but it's not ending. If anything, people are bolder. Now we see men, boys, big things that never came out in public before, but they're happening today. But then we have the conversation every December, and then it ends on Human Rights Day, and then we go for Christmas, and then we forget about it, and then we come back in January and we say, 40 women have been killed, or 14 boys committed suicide. Come on. Isn't it about time that we were bold enough to say we are not doing anything about this and we are killing our society?
You've said it. But do you know where the highest, the strongest voice is? Is the president of this nation. That's where power is. And sometimes I feel it when I know the people who have the power are not doing anything. If I am the head of any legal office, any criminal justice office, am I doing my part? If it's me who is supposed to report that this child is violated, do you know what? If you go to the US, UK, her case, it does not matter when it was done.
Yep.
Yes.
You face the law. So here we still have conversations of people who did.
Oh, come on, Dr. We have conversations where a girl or a young boy has been, and then what did we say? It's a shame to the family. And then you go have a conversation in the side, and then they say, watch him pay school fees for 1 year. Your story, you should come on. That's the conversation that we're having.
Can I say why the president of this nation? Do you know this girl, Trufena Muthoni?
Yes.
Who hugged a tree, actually.
And
now she's broken another record. The president just needed to say, bring her to State House.
Vicky, we keep on walking around this entire conversation. 16 days of activism will come and go. We'll have the civil society talk about it, come and go. Femicide cases are high. We will go to the streets, talk about it, go, reset. What would you rather see being done as a survivor, as a person who's speaking about it?
Can the conversations first begin at family level? I'll tell you. At 35, I finally told my mom what happened.
When you were 35?
When I was 35.
Mm.
And this is how betrayed I felt by my confession. Because I told her who did it. It's a member of the family. And I think 2 weeks later, my mom calls me and tells me, there's a family gathering. Are you coming? And the reason why I told her, she'd been asking me, every time you have an extended family gathering, you don't come. So finally I told her, the reason I don't come is because of this individual. And this is what it did to me. And I've carried this for years. This is what it has done to me. And it doesn't stop in the abuse, as in it carries other things. As you grow up, there's more trauma. I got into the wrong relationships, I got a mental breakdown. I was rehabilitated for that. Like, you keep accumulating and accumulating and accumulating. So at family level, our own families betray us, our own parents. The reason why it happened to me is because I was born of a teenage mother. So what do you do as a teenager? You take your child to your mother and you go off to school. So had I been at home with my mother, it wouldn't have happened. And you can't convince me today. I'm a mother now. I'm a mother of 4. You cannot convince me to host relatives or put up. I cannot do that. I will not do that. So I feel like those conversations at family level. And you see now, I felt like my mom just brushed it aside. And then bring in religion. Oh, forgive. God says whatever. And I'm thinking, please.
Hope and pray.
It's such a betrayal. But the conversation needs to start there. But like she said, the justice system, these people, we need to see them prosecute. You can't just go because you have a bit of money, you give whoever and you're out the next day, and then we forget it until the next time it's reported. And then because it's a shame to the family, you're even told. I know people who are beaten up for reporting. And some, I have friends who tell me that their parents beat them up and their mothers beat them up and told them, you are bringing shame to the family. In fact, you're the one who took yourself to that man. Yet you're the child, he is the adult.
Yeah.
How?
I've got to ask a last question as we shut down this conversation. It doesn't leave us feeling more encouraged. If anything, it leaves us feeling that there's a lot more that needs to be done. And one of the things that we can't do is keep quiet. Do you feel that at 35, after having spoken about it, do you feel that if you spoke about it earlier, things would have been better?
Maybe. Yeah. Yes. The issues wouldn't, the traumatic wounds wouldn't have escalated as far as they did had the conversation come earlier. Yes, it would have helped.
It's tough stuff that we have to deal with in community, and I think there's a lot of things that we have to do to be able to get to a place where we can say we are progressive, and this is one of them. Thank you for your strength to talk about this now and to encourage somebody else across board. Dr. thank you for your professionalism and the desire to see people do and be better, because it's what we need in society to make society better. We are better when we do better, and that's for sure. Dr. Susan Gitau, thank you. Psychologist, Asante Sana. Victoria Wajiko, gender activist, author, champion, thank you for being here this morning. And as we continue to have these conversations, important for us to continue to plug in. They are important as we have them. Thank you for keeping it Kenya's biggest conversation this Thursday, as we've talked about a number of things, and thank you for plugging in. Every time we call, you do, and we find that we're all vested into having this conversation. I'm going to remind you that even as you're out and about today, get a hold of your KCB card. Use it. It's a winning card. It's one of the only ones that when you spend, you actually earn. 10,000 shillings is what you can earn every week, 100,000 shillings every month. And how about that wonderful vacation all the way to Zanzibar for 2 with the grand prize winners. Remember, paying with your KCB card isn't just safe and reliable and convenient, it could make you a winner. The more you pay using your KCB card, the better your chances of winning. Use your KCB card today, the winning card. Terms and conditions apply, don't forget that. But KCB Bank is for people, it's for better. Good morning, 2 minutes past 10. We talk again tomorrow, God willing. Have a good day.
The latest news from around the world. 94.4 Spice FM.
Miss Jackson, ooh, I am for real. No more shopping sprees, no more late night breeze, no more VIP, no more dough. He can't even kick it.
Spice. Oh, more of the classics and the hits you love.
You played the best music.
94.4 Spice FM.
Back to the music.